Welcome to the Off the Rails podcast. What's up, party people? I'm so glad that you did this right here because I've been saving a video of you. I've been saving it for the perfect moment, and now I have it. Now I have my moment.
Hey, yo, what up? What up?
I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say. This guy has broke out a pair of glasses that he stole from a toddler, I believe, and is trying to stick them on his big old bowling ball shaped head.
Hey,
And
hey, man. Listen, we
this is not,
legit.
this is not the style that we're talking about, man.
We legit.
This is the wrong style for Stile Boys.
I had to bring in a little bit of style. You know what I'm saying? These
Well,
they just look small. They look youth, but they're not.
but maybe your head's not youth.
Now, you're probably right about that. I guarantee you this watermelon ain't youth.
Anyway, I'm Travis,
And I'm Mitch.
and this is the Off the Rails podcast. And we're starting in true form and fashion because it's just everywhere.
We're going to keep it up.
Yeah, yeah. Man, how have you been?
Dude, I'm doing fantastic, man. Things rocking and rolling over here, man. It's gonna be like I called it at the beginning of the year, dude. I said it's gonna be a gangbuster year, and we're headed that way. We're headed that way, man.
Nothing short of great, huh?
That's right. It's been good.
Yeah.
What about
I
you?
feel you.
Everything?
It's good. It's good. I'm a little off kilter because we're off kilter,
Yep.
but it's no big deal, no big deal at all. But we're a little
Listen.
off schedule. I mean,
Here's
as
what,
as usual.
here's what I'm gonna say about that. When Chris calls and says the Boston butt will be ready at 5 o'clock on Sunday, you go. You go.
Look, I don't blame you at all. I mean, I don't. I was actually pretty elated by it because we had just gotten home. We were just getting back in from Chattanooga because we had to go move my daughter home for the summer. So we were out there and we took an extra night to spend. Both of my parents were off on Saturday night, so we took an extra night to say hey and hang out out there. And so we were rolling back on Sunday. So it was actually like perfect timing. Like it's
Well,
like
you
all
didn't
right, we've been gone for 2 nights.
you didn't say all that in the text. You were like, all right, whatever, fine.
Well, I wanted you to feel like I was slightly disappointed to not talk or to not see you, but it worked out good. I mean, we were just able to come home and kind of just unpack and decompress and
Yeah.
let everybody get in their normal mode because we went out Friday after work and then got up super early to move her on Saturday morning before anybody could before there was too much moving around the campus, which that's really by 10 on a college campus. As long as you're out of there by 10, ain't nobody really moving on a Saturday morning.
Yeah. And it wasn't extremely hot either.
Oh, it was great. The weather was
Oh man.
freaking amazing. So because we moved her, and then Saturday we went to an alpaca farm.
Did you get spit on?
No, that's llamas. Alpacas don't spit, do they?
Oh, they spit.
Do they?
And they bite. And I'm not going to tell you. You need to look up. You need to look up what male alpacas do to each other to take the other one out of the gene pool. Look that one up.
Oh, well, I do know this. So we took our dog who, it looks kind of alpaca-ish in his coat. But there was another dog there and it was funny because the alpacas never gave my dog, didn't check up on him at all. They're like, whatever. You little half-breed mutt, whatever. Whatever. There's this pit bull looking thing over there and it kept making that squeal and ticking noise that they do, at it. It was the head honcho. I don't know if it was a male or a female, but the head honcho was very concerned about that alpaca.
Look,
Or about that dog. About
You
that
better
dog.
not turn your back on the alpaca, buddy. I promise you that.
Well, it was a little disappointing because it's a cool little place though. It's just a little spot and it's got a coffee shop. It's actually in Georgia. It's right across the line from Chattanooga. And that's kind of there's nothing there. There's no real reason to go there except for this. Somebody's like, hey, we got some alpacas. Let's throw a coffee shop up here. And I mean, the coffee shop, I've seen shorter lines at Starbucks.
Really?
I mean, they were racked out. I mean, they were pulling money hand over fist. I mean, it was
Good.
great. great little, and they had a cute shop set up. It was nice inside, and kind of pretty country and all. But
It's kind of like that reminds me of Helen, Georgia, during Oktoberfest.
oh, really?
Yeah, there's no other reason to go to Helen, Georgia during October. I believe we went one year in October, and it was just ridiculous. And of course, I wasn't interested in bar hopping all night.
You weren't in the libations?
No. Now that's back when me and my brother we knocked a few back.
Gotcha.
And we were playing Scrabble. And
you wild animals, you.
Well, it turned wild.
Not the Scrabble.
Because I was like, hey, man, that ain't no word. And he's like, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Oh,
but anyway,
I got you.
It was fun. That was a fun trip.
I see. I can bar hop. Like that's one of my favorite things to do. I can bar hop. I mean, we were talking about that this weekend. We were at this cool little place, and I was like, "This is. I need a downtown strip like this. This is all I need. Little studio apartment, downtown strip, and a shop, and I could retire like this life." But
well,
it was fun.
Speaking of Chris, he sent me a text a while ago. I said, hey, I done sent him the link to the podcast 5 times. He's like, hey, send me the link to one where y'all was talking about me.
Well,
so
which one?
I said, we sprinkle you in, man. There's a little bit of Chris at a time.
Well, y'all got a road trip coming up here soon, don't you?
Yep, we got a road. We're leaving Friday, and we're going up to Coleman, and we're coming back. Right now, we're planning on coming back Saturday.
Do you know why you're going to Coleman yet?
I did find out why. Yep.
So for those of you who have no idea where Coleman, Alabama is, it's almost like halfway between my house and where Mitch lives.
Mm-hmm.
It's
which he mentioned. He mentioned talking to you and seeing if you wanted to eat. He said, I don't know how far of a drive that is from wherever Travis is, but it's probably a couple hours.
It's a hefty drive.
At least, yeah.
We may be possibly going to be in Jackson for a funeral. So I'm not 100% sure if we're going to make it to that or not. We had a family member pass away over the weekend.
Well, I hate that.
Yeah, a cousin, but short battle with brain cancer. But
Ooh.
it was short, but man, it was vicious. Man,
yeah,
less than 6 months from diagnosis to There's a lot of crazy sicknesses going on in the world out there.
Yeah.
She was having back pains. And just thought it was back pains, and finally went to go get seen, and they ran a couple of scans. They're like, "No, we've got some other stuff going on."
Wow.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yep.
Well, I found out. Excuse me. There's your one, Thomas.
There you go, Tommy. I worked on that.
I found out that we are actually going to a cattle sale.
Yep.
Up there, and so I kind of got out of the whole boot world, as in I don't have any.
Okay. Well, I thought you just went and bought some snake boots. Does that not count?
I don't know if snake boots are acceptable at a cattle. Oh, well, I guess they could be.
I mean, are they kind of like muck boots ish?
Yeah, they're kind of
got
boots.
That look.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. You might be all right.
Yeah.
I don't know what the etiquette is. Is there a dress code?
At a cattle sale, I doubt it. Probably the dirtier the better. I did find out something though. So if you're at a cattle sale and you see a guy that has one pant leg tucked in his boot, that means he owns over 100 head of cattle.
No, come on, this is a lie. Half the rednecks in Alabama walking around with one pant leg and a boot and have one out, and ain't got but 3 wheels on their 4-wheel car. What are you talking about?
You have to be at the cattle sale.
Oh, at the cattle sale.
Yeah, not just walking around. I'm talking during the cattle sale. All right, 2 pants leg tucked in your boots. That means, which is called shotgunning, right? When you tuck your pants leg down inside your boot, that means you got over 200 head of cattle. So what you do is when you go in, you kind of feel it out and kind of see where the prices are and all this, and then if you want to act like you got more cows, you just tuck your pants leg in. All of a sudden, you a baller.
What if you have a pair of boots on and you have blue jean shorts? You probably have no cattle?
Yeah, probably. That guy probably doesn't know a whole lot about the cattle industry.
Hey, why is that alpaca farmer over here at the cattle sale?
That guy's a goat farmer, obviously.
What in the world?
But yeah, that's
And they're a little short.
yeah, they're a little high and tight, buddy. So I don't know. I thought about surprising Chris with like a pair of boots and a cowboy hat and like some kind of western shirt or something when he picked me up. I figured he'd probably get a good, but then I got to wear it the whole time, and I'm like, nah, I don't really want to do that.
Just run the Goodwill and see what you can find. Like, do something on the cheap.
You know what? I should get mismatched boots.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
Yeah, like I'm talking all the way different. One black, one brown. I told him I was going to do the bidding. I said, buddy, I'm going to snatch that number off your back, and I'm going to have that little flag. And I said, I'm fixing to bid. He wasn't a fan of that.
Yeah, because, one time I went to a cattle sale, and now tell me if I'm wrong, because I'm trying to do it by memory, but I think if I remember right, I was amazed because, like, the dollar amount, I was like, man, these cows are selling for cheap.
Yeah.
But it's a multiplier. It's by the pound.
By the pound, yep. Mm-hmm.
Like, it would be like $5. And then I was like, $5 for a whole cow? And they were like, no, times the weight of the cow. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, how much? And they're like, oh, well, and there's the weight of the cow. Like, there's a scale showing you the weight. And I was like, oh. Yeah. Well, it seems like you would just do easy math and just like, $1,500. Let's just go $1,500.
Yeah. And the thing about Chris that, I mean, all jokes aside, he's an amazing businessman, honestly.
Yeah.
And so, of course, he's not just going to have cattle, right? We're in Alabama. Everybody has cattle. Yeah. You ride by, somebody could have, 20 cows. They could have 150 cows, whatever. And I'm not putting his business out there, but he's kind of going at this whole thing a different route.
Gotcha.
And it's going to be, I'll send you some pictures, but it's going to be interesting what we come home with on this trip.
Well,
I can tell you this. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying my old buddy that I rent from was talking to somebody while he was doing some work at my shop about going to a pig sale today.
Ooh. When them things get out, but it gets messy.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I kind of feel like I know what we're going to be buying. I'm not loading that son of a gun up on the trailer. I done told Chris, I said, buddy, when it comes time to load it up, I'll be in the truck. Don't ask me for no help.
All right, send me a picture. I'm intrigued. You've got my curiosity piqued.
Well, anyway, that's enough about cabinets.
Wait, we hadn't talked about cabinets yet.
Oh.
We probably should.
This is what happens when we're fresh on the week still. See, we kind of hit a reset. We're all fresh.
Well, we started off the pre-conversation talking about everything under the sun before we hit record that didn't have anything to do with work anyway. So
no, and we'll not ever make it on a podcast.
Oh, nah.
Not yet anyway. We get to Joe Rogan status, we'll probably start sprinkling.
Well, I'm thinking about starting a second podcast.
Really?
But with you.
With me?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll just call it the Whatever Podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
And we just don't have a theme.
Yeah, we won't advertise that one. So I'll cut loose.
Oh, I feel like we're not advertising this one very well. But we need 1,000 downloads in 1 week, people.
1,000 downloads.
We need 1,000 downloads in 1 week to move the meter.
Yep.
From any source other than YouTube. So any podcast, true podcast source, whatever your preferred listening platform is, tell a friend. We need 1,000 downloads in 1 week.
Yep.
That'll move the needle for us to get a sponsor so we can get Tommy paid so he can edit for
poor Thomas
for a couple of dollars.
Yeah.
He's been working. Like he's been texting me. He's been working on trying to get it all together, and
it's
good.
He is absolutely invested, which is good.
Yeah. It's not easy.
When he gets invested in something, he does a good. Now, if he's not invested, get what you get. But he has worried me, and I was like, dude, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to tell you. So that's what the Zoom meeting and all that. And
yeah.
I can tell you what that's going to be about. But anyway.
Well, I actually had so much data on my computer this Sunday when I went to upload. My computer was so bogged down I could not upload. Of course, I uploaded 2 extra hours
I wasn't gonna say it.
of pod. Well, it's there. It's out there.
Of nothing.
Of nothing. Of complete utter silence.
I don't even know how you do that.
So I went back and looked, and there's, I don't know what it is, but there's some underlying audio file that's like underneath one of ours that's just, but I can't figure out how to delete it.
Hmm.
I can't even figure out how to delete it to redo and re-upload the podcast to make it 2 hours shorter. I can't figure out how to get it, it won't go away.
Well, they'll figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, so once we get done talking, that's it. Once the music plays, that's it. I mean, it's the same music, it's the same outro every time. So, I mean, if you picked up on episode, what was that? 8, 9? That was 9.
Something like that.
Yeah, that was 9. So if you picked up on episode 9 and it just went into oblivion and you were like, what happened? Well, you picked the wrong episode to be your first one.
There you go.
That's all I know how to tell you, man. You gonna die on me here? You gonna make it?
I'm good. I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah.
I'm worried about you.
What'd you do this week?
This week or combined?
The week that this podcast represents.
Okay. Last week was really a weird week. You ever have one of those weeks where you look back and you're like, what did I do? Like, I didn't feel like I achieved anything. So I basically monkeyed around with that stupid Murphy door for about 2 days of playing with the templates and trying to figure out, my positioning of the door to get it, built before, or where it needed to fall to get my spacing.
Yeah.
Before I even built a cabinet. So I really spent about 2 days on that. All just to find out when I go to do the install that it doesn't matter that you did that because nobody uses a level to check to see if the walls are plumb. So note 1 of, the podcast notes was, builders, why don't you walk around with a level while you're checking your houses? I don't know. This is a brand new $2.3 million home. And the wall is about, I'd say at least a half an inch out of plumb on the right hand side. And on top of that, the closet, so it's a closet. So the Murphy door is covering a closet. The left side of the closet is in line with the wall. The right hand side of the closet, after it jumps to opening, is recessed back about a half an inch to an inch. Like, it's, the bottoms are like this. So all the planning that I did,
yeah,
gone out the window. Had to remake a cabinet. The middle cabinet, ended up having to just not put it up and redo it because of all these adjustments. I lost over 2 inches of wall space, and you don't.
Yeah.
Now I did have an inch of scribe on the far left hand wall. I had an inch of face frame to play with for scribe. And it ate all that. I needed about another inch and an eighth after these 2 issues. So builder screwed me there, but got those rebuilt and going to wrap that up tomorrow. And that's actually, so I got all those doors and drawers and all that stuff, and we'll get the Murphy door in and get the desktop in. I made my first set of desk legs today. That was kind of fun. Did some tapered legs with
you got a jig?
I made me a tapered leg jig. I did.
There you go.
But my day was severely interrupted in a good way, but not in a good way at the same time. So the guy that I rent from, I talked to him last week, bought a new dust collector, and I was like, hey man, I need some power. I need some 240 power in a couple of places. And so we kind of looked at the existing wiring, got a punch list together what I needed. So I ordered everything and it came in, and I messaged him. I was like, hey, I'll be around all day tomorrow if you're around. And I was really just intending on him to come by and like kind of eyeball everything and make sure that I had everything we needed to do the project.
Mm-hmm.
And he was ready to do the project. And it's kind of like, what do? You're like, you need it done, but I also really needed to get some productivity done today for tomorrow. And, so it just kind of just threw the day out of kilter. But I got some 240 in. Hey, did you know that there is a cord that will split 240 back out to 2 110s?
You mean like a kind of like the extension cord type thing?
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. It locks into the wall, and then it's got two cords that come out.
Yep.
Yeah. So I rewired the saw to 240. I was like, oh yeah, these legs, we're fixing to hum right through these legs, baby. Flip it on. Saw. I'm like, man, it seems like it should be. Seems like that saw should be whipping it a little bit harder than that. I
Humming
don't
a little
really.
bit better than
Yeah,
that.
I don't feel like that's a little difference. I was like, all right, well, anyway, let's go. I mean, just stalled the blade out. I was like, how, how, how do I have less power? What just happened? So take everything back apart. Like somehow I'm like, well, I missed the wiring on the motor. Like somehow I didn't skip it up to, and then now, anyway, long story short, I got to play and figured out that cord splits it back down to 120 or
Mm,
110, whatever generation you want to call it.
yeah.
So had to rewire the saw back to 110 because now I got to have a different end for the saw cord to get it back up to 240.
Well, you know what you need to do? You need to do like what Sensei did and leave all your boxes, 240-volt boxes on the wall with no covers. Knock a knockout out of the side. Run your Romex through the knockout with no protection, and then wire nut everything together, and the wire nuts are sticking out of the box. Yeah. Could you imagine when I kind of slowed down and
I don't think
looked,
I want to do that.
and I was walking around one day and I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
This ain't going to work.
Look, this electrical is already a little bit of a crapshoot in this building. I'm just
Yeah.
saying. I mean, I think if you remember in one of the episodes, he's like, "Hey, if an inspector comes by here,
Yeah.
meet him outside."
You know, speak of English.
It's just old. I don't know that it's like wrong. It's just probably not current
Yeah.
code.
This here
know?
is wrong. This,
Yeah,
at my
yeah,
place, it's wrong.
yeah.
I was like, Sensei, come on, man. Come on.
But but yeah, so we got all that done, and then did a couple of measurings. You know, got some good jobs coming up. Fixing to rip and roar on the trophy cases starting next week. So those will be pumping out 33-footed trophy case for the school.
Mm.
Yep, priced a little bit better than I priced the marquee letters.
Yeah.
You know, not at free or cost. You know,
Your tax dollars at work, Travis.
right? Yeah.
You're just paying
So
yourself back.
well, this one is at least. So this one's at least donor money.
Yeah.
Athletics and and all that stuff. So, but it's something they've needed. I mean, they've got a state championship trophy to put in there, and I mean they've got they've got 13 years of accolades to put in, and have never had a place to display them. So
And that
it'd
kind
be
of
pretty
stuff,
cool.
let's be honest, that kind of stuff does play a part in the sports morale at the school. I mean,
Oh, it
think
does.
about
Yeah.
if the University of Alabama, they display all of their awards, national championships, roll tide, all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
They're proud of it, man. And a
Yeah.
school should be. If you've won championships, titles, whatever, then you should display that, because the younger students, I remember going through, remember we had a trophy case.
Well,
And
we
I
had
remember,
two giant monuments outside the front doors of our school
and that,
from our high school championships.
yeah. Oh, trust me, there's a lot
Yeah.
worse ways to spend tax dollars now.
I mean, about
in a
5 foot tall state of Alabama in granite.
Yep.
Outside.
Yep. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with trophy cases in schools and stuff. That's all right.
Well, and this will be cool. They're actually doing above it. They're doing. Ooh, can you hear that?
Is it fizzing?
It's
Oh yeah,
fizzing.
I hear it.
Yeah. They're doing above that. They're doing. I don't know if you call it retired jerseys, but so any kid for any sport that gets a college scholarship, they are framing and mounting their jersey for that sport, and they'll be on display above these trophy cases on the wall.
Oh yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Next thing you know, they'll be handing out NIL deals.
Hey, maybe so. You never know. You never know. Oh,
Side note: did you know that our alma mater is getting a brand new stadium? Because I just
Yeah.
learned that today.
yeah. I've seen drawings on it. I mean, it's only taken. Let's see. We've been gone 40 years.
Yeah. Well, how old was the other stadium? That's the
Uh,
question. I'm talking about that joker was OG, man.
the other stadium was built in the 40s or 50s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
actually only has one set of bleachers in it because the funding fell through to finish the other bleachers for the visitors.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
sucks to be a visitor then.
Yeah, it does. But yeah, no, it'll be nice. I mean, it'll be nice to have the actual stadium
So
with the school.
so let's spend just a second because we do kind of I guess need to talk about cabinetry some. What
Why?
what build technique roughly are you going with? Are we talking glass doors, no doors, sliding glass? Like
Yep,
this
glass
thing's
doors.
got to be it's got to be strong, man. It's got to be able to hold the weight. Like what kind of things do you keep in mind when you're designing something like that?
Yeah, so it's actually kind of cool. So it's a 4 foot center is going to be kind of the showcase piece, and it's got a taller tower for it. It's 4 foot wide, and then out front, and then it'll actually be double boxes. So it'll be two boxes stacked on each other, and the center divider and the door will cover those up. So and then that's kind of the construction method all the way out. Each box will actually be two stack boxes,
Mm-hmm.
um, and with a center divider in the middle to give them support, so that we're not carrying crazy weight around.
Yeah.
But and then everything will be glass shelves, no wooden shelves, and then lots and lots of LED lighting, and then kind of a shaker style door with a glass panel,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's got a raised box, so it's sitting 18 inches off the floor. We didn't want. You ever been in one and you see like a trophy case and like you're like, what's that down there? And like it
Yep.
actually starts, 4 or 5 inches off the floor, and
Yep.
those items are way down deep. We kind of wanted to get away from that. Plus, kids bumping that lower
Yeah.
section and janitorial equipment, stripping and waxing floors and bouncing off of it, and this. You ever seen like the ride on floor scrubbers that they got, at like Lowe's and stuff? I mean, they've got a couple of those. So, that guy in training bumping up against, the
Yeah.
outside of the trophy case. So it'll kind of be a raised platform, but I'm going to put some fake or some hidden doors on the front that they can put like they can store stuff in that, like extra hangers and extra, brackets to hold plaques and stuff. That way it's all right there. The next sport gets another plaque and they want to put it in there. They've got, stuff right there with the trophy case to put it up.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you got to go get tempered glass. That's kind of the only downside, um, is doing the tempered glass. So I am in debate though of whether I'm going to get all the glass cut and like actually insert it in the door like I would a panel, or am I going to rabbet the back of the door out and do like the glass tabs?
So, my opinion, you do what you want. And my opinion is absolutely rabbit the back. Um, I have a pin setter that I use, which would be fine on those, depending on how big the doors are. I mean, if your doors are moderate in size, you can use a pin setter. I would also go around with a little bit of clear caulk on the back, just kind of keep them from rattling. But yeah, I would definitely, because guess what? Sooner or later, that panel's going to break.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
that's kind of my concern. And if I do it the other way, I've got to pre-finish everything before I can actually put it together
yeah.
because
Have you? When
I'm
was the last
finishing
time?
this.
Was the last time you? Was the last time you priced the old tempered glass?
Oh, well, right before I submitted this bid.
Okay, good. Whew. I got took for a ride on that one time, buddy.
Hey, I'm going to detour you for a second because I just got an email. Just got an email at offcuts@styleboys.com. Boys with a
Yes.
Z. Just got an email in from a listener, actually. Not one of
Okay.
our parents,
Okay.
not a family member of any of ours either. Jason, thanks for the email, man. Appreciate it. You comment a lot. You're paying attention to every episode, and we really do appreciate that.
We do.
But he said, "Good job, fellas. Keep up the content. Feel free to hit me up on Facebook. You guys complaining about it not warming up. We had snow this morning.
Oh man,
Anyway, cheers from West Michigan.
West Michigan, really?
West Michigan. Well, Jason, I don't know a whole lot about Michigan except for if it's snowing right now, screw that. That's all I.
Yeah. Check
uh,
that one off the list of places I want to go move to.
I want to visit Michigan, but apparently not in April still. So I guess
Yeah.
May, June, July might still
June,
be a
July.
time to go search Michigan. I think I want to do some fishing in Michigan. I think they've got some really good fishing.
They got like a little lake or something up there, don't they? Up there, like
They
lake.
don't, there's no water up there. What are you talking about?
No, maybe that's somewhere else. I'm thinking
Lake.
about then.
Oh, the Mississippi River runs up there, doesn't it?
Something like that. Anyway,
Lake Mississippi. Lake me. It starts
lake.
with an M, whatever that lake is, but I
Yeah.
can't. It eludes me. I do have a buddy I was in the Marine Corps with. That's from Michigan. I need to hook up with him. He's about to. It's crazy. He's about to retire. He coming in a year after me, and he's
Really?
getting yeah, and he's getting really close to retirement. He rode it all the way through. He
Well,
just
thanks a
turned. He
lot.
just turned 40 the other day, and I was like, "Happy birthday, Boot," which is what you call somebody underneath you. You call somebody who's younger than you a boot. And he's like,
Okay.
boot. I was like, yep, boot. I mean, he's a freaking E9. He's sergeant major. Like, I mean, he's either, I can't even remember what he is. He's a sergeant major or master guns. But he's E9. Like, he's top as you can go. You know, he's like, boot. You know.
Yeah.
But
Well, Jason, I don't know how in the world you can stand to sit and listen to a couple of rednecks talk, or if you have like a translator. But hang in there, buddy. You'll get used to it.
maybe being a Yankee, you find the accent endearing.
It might be calming.
Might be. Are we like the sounds that he plays to fall asleep to?
Yeah. And his wife's going, "Turn them jokers off, man. What are you doing?"
Their mom said they're funny, but they're really not.
Well, what else you got going on?
Um, got the trailer logoed yesterday.
There we go.
Yep. It's all looking fly. I can need to text you a picture real quick of it. Looking fly. I held off because, I didn't want to ruin the allure.
Yeah.
I did get my dumpster delivered finally at my shop today. I finally decided to quit burning, ordered a dumpster. $83 a month, and they dump it every other week. I was like, yeah, we're gonna do that.
Oh,
It's getting
dude.
hot. It's getting
Heck
hot.
yeah.
I can't keep burning. It's taking too much time.
Yeah. Smoking the pigs out.
Yeah. Well, Will the sheep. Meh. And then
Dude, I like
and
that logo, man.
how'd it come? That come out pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, it's off center by about 3 inches, but it's
My partner's upset. He's like, man, I think I like the silver trailer better because his trailer's black.
yeah.
He's like, I think I really like the silver trailer better than I do the black. And it's hard to tell, but the actual lettering on there it's blue. It's not black. It's like a navy blue, and it really looks good in person up against that silver
Oh yeah.
background of the trailer.
Yeah. Well, that looks good, man.
Yeah. Oh, and I had Satan himself come visit me today in the shop.
Uh-oh. The flying kind?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
Nope.
the old no shoulders?
No shoulders. And for those of you who know me, know that I cannot handle it. I mean, it crawled. I mean, it might as well have just ran up my pants leg and back down the other one. Because, I mean, I was walking out. Actually, it was not too long after the dumpster had been delivered. I was like, oh, I've been hoarding stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Clean
thank
out.
God. So I was running stuff out there to the dumpster, and I turned around, and there he was laying right in the doorway. Now, don't get me wrong. He was about this big.
Mm.
He maybe was a foot long. I don't know what he was, but he moved with no feet, so he had to die. That's all I can tell you.
Take your chances on whether or not a good snake, bad snake, dead snake.
I don't understand the words "good snake." That just does not translate to me. If it moves with no legs, the Bible says it's bad, and I'm going with it. The Bible says nothing about sort out the snakes, but
Yeah,
see which one's
that's right.
bad. I mean,
Identify it, pull out your chart, and see.
yeah. No. Old Google Images said kill it,
There you go.
so I killed it.
So you don't know
then-
what kind it was.
Nope.
Well, don't describe it, because as soon as you do, somebody's going to email and say, that was a speckled scarlet unicorn snake, and
Oh yeah. You know.
know.
That's a beautiful snake. How dare you? How dare you? And then Oh, and so I sent it to the guy that I rent the shop from because we were talking about snakes when he was there doing the electrical, and I was like, man, I don't do snakes. Like that's terrible. I was like, we just had to say the word snake, and then can I turn around and there he is, you know?
I know exactly what that is.
Yeah, he's huge, isn't he?
I know exactly what kind of snake that is, but I'm not going to say.
I mean, it's probably just a rat snake, but
Ding, 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 ding,
yeah,
ding.
I don't care. I can't. I'd rather have the rat. I'd
Yeah.
rather.
You rather deal with a rat?
I'd rather have the rat. I can't. I
Well, in
think I
this,
could clear. I think I could clear a glass wall. I'm pretty sure I could. If it was me in a room and a snake, I could climb glass.
well, look, this very room I'm sitting in, I killed those two copperheads within 10 minutes of each other.
Oh
This
yeah,
very room.
I remember your youngest one telling me about you playing sniper with a pistiola in there.
Yes, sir. You think I don't check this floor when I come in here after the weekend? Buddy, you better believe it.
Oh man, yeah, it was not good. But yeah, but I mean, but as far as cabinets go, I mean, we got those going. Got those couple of projects, and then we're gonna roll into a big laundry room coming up. If this customer will ever make up their mind, now this is the one that took like a month to decide on the design. Finally got the
Hmm.
design going, and then she texted back about a week later after we finalized the design. Yeah, I'm getting new washers and dryers this week. So I was like, okay. And these are like, remember we talked about these like German, like weird looking washers and dryers? Like they're smaller than a normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are coming out. So now everything's got to be redone for
Redone.
the normals. But other than that, and then went to a customer's house yesterday who, I'm trying to think, one, two, I don't know. It's probably an 8 room house. I think I measured 6 of the rooms for something.
Yeah.
Either an architectural detail on the wall, a shiplap wall, office. I was like, all right, so we're going to hang out with you a lot. And it was
Yeah.
ironic that my last house, when they started building this neighborhood that they live in, I saw the survey markers go up. I put my house up for sale. This house would have been in my backyard. Like
Oh,
I could,
man.
I would have watched this house being built the entire time. Like it was right there beside it. We were talking about it, and he's like, "Well, why didn't you stay?" And I said, I would have never survived the construction of this neighborhood being going right next
No.
to me. I mean, I bought that house because it was on a dead end, and now the dead end was going. The road was being continued through the new, neighborhood, and I was like, no, I didn't want anything to do with it. So
I
funny.
actually, we do a lot of work for a huge subdivision. One of the builders builds quite a few houses up through there. And anyway, I kind of got to know one of the homeowners, and I asked him, I said, well, why did you choose this place to move? And they're like, oh, well, it's not downtown. It's outside of the city, and it's kind of like a suburb, and it's just really quiet and peaceful, and not a lot goes on out here. They have been building housing every single day in this place for 9 years. Every day, from at the entrance of this place, there are Monday through Friday, 6 to 5. There are contractors in and out, trailers. There's nail guns going. There's ditch witches going.
Oh
Concrete
yeah,
trucks coming in for 9 years. That guy said, I moved out here because this another dude I talked to had been out there a long time. He was walking his dog or whatever. And I said, man, when's it going to end? He said, it's not. They'll be building out here the next 10 years. They just keep moving it back and back and back.
yeah. It just keeps
Yeah.
going in
And
sections.
the poor guy at the front, every day is constant, man. People, you have no idea who they are. You've never met them. You don't know their names, their background.
Yeah,
And they're just watching your house every day. And it's so ironic that you move out there to get away from people you don't really know. And you're covered up in them every single
yeah.
day.
We've got one that's kind of like that. It's a really nice subdivision that we do a lot of work in, but what they do is that as they progressively move back in sections, they keep opening another construction entrance, and
Yeah,
they
like a
want to.
side street or something.
Yeah, they won't allow you to come. Like they want once that last layer. So one thing they do here that is pretty cool. I think in most of the areas is the city like puts in the road and everything, and or no, I'm sorry, the developer has to put the road in, right? And so like you can tell it's a new neighborhood because like all the sewer lids are 2-3 inches up above the concrete, and the curbs got a drop in it. Well, the city won't do the top coat until there's no more construction in that
Oh, okay.
area.
Yeah.
So once that area is done, then the city will top coat the road, and then now they have assumed responsibility for it. Anything before that, the builder has to actually maintain, like the potholes that develop and all that stuff from the
Yeah.
trucks coming in and out. So it kind of holds them accountable for the people coming out. So like this subdivision, they're like, no, 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 you're a construction guy. You come in the servant's entrance. You're not coming in through the front.
Yep.
And
Hmm.
that's how I feel. If you get there at the wrong time, like they don't open the gates till 7 o'clock. So you get there and it'll be a mile of trucks, trailers, concrete. I went through there
Wow.
one morning. There was a guy turned sideways in his concrete truck asleep, and people were just going around him. Like I don't know what time he had got there, but I mean, like he was turned sideways in the truck, head down, and people were just nobody even tried to wake him up. He just went right around and left him sitting in the middle of the road.
If people are going, where's the concrete guy at?
Uh,
Was that
oh
it
man,
for your week?
sure. I was thinking of
Snake,
something else.
dumpster, trophies,
Piss
cabinets,
poor wall
measuring.
builds. Yes.
Yeah, Lord have mercy. It bothers me. Man, when I go into a new house and I see that kind of thing and I'm like, come on, guys. Like you don't expect absolute perfection
Yeah.
like what we try to strive for. I have to set 30 cabinets in there that are literally laser straight with a laser. And it's like, you can look at this wall and tell
Yeah.
it's not right.
Well, that house I was in, the one I was saying that would have been my back door. I was walking around, and this is a brand new house, and uh, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about LVP flooring in houses that cost this much. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. It's nice, but I just don't know if it's in $600,000+ houses. I just don't know how I feel about seeing LVP in it. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Well,
like
don't come look at these houses, buddy.
well, I mean, I like LVP. I mean, it doesn't bother me. I just don't know if it belongs in a house at that price point. You know
You know what I'm about to say? You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say it.
what?
Not a fan. I don't like it. I
Yeah,
don't like it. I've never liked it. I didn't like laminate flooring. I don't
I don't
like
like laminate.
LVP. I don't like linoleum. It might as well be all the same thing to me. Listen, if you have it, we're putting it in our house.
What do
Okay?
you are putting LVP?
We're putting LVP in the entire house.
Yeah,
Every single room. There will
No
be
carpet.
no, absolutely no carpet.
yeah,
But there will be no thresholds in the house.
yeah.
I'm anti. I don't like thresholds. Okay, and so we're doing it. And a secret of this is if a piece of your flooring gets damaged because hey, we're living it right now,
Yeah.
right? Or half the floor is torn up in the house. Whatever connects to that floor, they have to replace. So if we have something that comes in and damages a spot in the living room or in the hallway or something, guess what? Brand new floors in the whole house. Free tip.
Huh? Never thought about it like that.
Whatever snaps together,
Yeah.
they replace. Now, once you break it with a threshold or whatever, they won't replace that as a separate room. But we're not having thresholds.
Huh. Well, this house, you could look around the bottoms of the door casings and you could see padding
Yeah.
where they didn't cut the LVP right and tuck it underneath the
Mm-hmm.
under the casings. And now that little stuff like that would drive me bonkers.
And that's a reason I love working for this, one of these builders. The guy who's building my house
Yeah.
is I've been there when he runs flooring. Dude is a flooring magician, man. And I'm telling you, when he gets done, man, I don't know how he does it so fast, but
Yeah.
it is top notch. He does absolute good work on
The
flooring.
builder lays the floor?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
He does the flooring. He does the trim. He does the tile. He does carpet if you want carpet. He does your window trims. He does your final touch up, your final caulk. He sets windows. He sets all the doors, runs all the door trim.
So he's not just GCing this thing.
No,
Gotcha.
builder.
So a builder up here is just a GC. They ain't building nothing.
Right. And see, the other builder, he does all the dirt work, site prep, foundation, like digging the foundations and moving all the dirt. And then he does like some other stuff during the build or whatever. But I asked him one time, I asked the first guy we talked about does a lot of the work. I said, why? He said, man, that's where the money is. He said, guess how much money I make off your cabinets? Nothing.
Yeah.
He said, but you know what I'm making off this floor? And what I'm making off that trim? What I'm making off that tile? And I said, well, if you have time to do it and it works for you, absolutely do it,
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how much it costs to tile a brand new shower in a home.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can do it. Why am I? And man, but I'm telling you, dude, his work is freaking impeccable, man. He does a good job.
Huh.
And I don't know if he listens. I don't even think he listens to the podcast, so I'm not just saying that.
Hey, Sam. Hey,
Yeah.
I know you're listening.
Sam. I wish his name was Sam. That'd be hilarious.
And just start calling him Sam. Just make
Yeah,
it
we're
his
gonna
name.
go Sam and Frank. That's gonna be my two builders.
So who's building your house, Sam or Frank? Sam's building your house. Okay.
Yep. Which, by the way, I've got to change to that.
I'm making a note, so that's permanent now.
Yep. Old Sam and Frank.
Change to what? You're not building a house anymore? You're moving out?
Still building a house, but we wanted the house to be OSB wrapped because it's just got metal siding. So a lot of times, if you just do metal siding and you put bad insulation in the wall, well, if you have a piece of PEX that comes out of the wall right against that metal siding,
Uh-huh.
and it's below freezing for 2 or 3 days, you can freeze that line.
Good, yeah.
So we said, well, we want to OSB wrap it. And he's like, okay, for this amount of money, you can do that. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. We're doing it for that amount of money. I'll pay you out of pocket for that.
Yeah.
Well, then we kind of got to talking, and he's like, since you guys are going to OSB wrap it anyway, I'm kind of playing with some numbers. I'll get back with you. I said, okay. So he came back, and he's like, we're doing stick built. I can do a stick framed house, traditional framed house. We don't have to buy the big metal trusses. We don't have to, buy the big post and all that. We got to put eaves on the house now.
Yeah.
And we have to dig the concrete out a little bit more, but we save a lot of money on the roof system. You're OSB in it anyway. Let's just do that. And I was like, dude, I'm all in. So it's no longer going to be a barn dominium or a pole barn.
Yeah.
It's going to be a traditional stick built house. And I'm happy
cool.
about that.
Are you doing 2x6 walls or are you doing 2x4 exterior walls?
2x6 exterior and 2x6 walls behind the toilets.
Oh, yeah. That's a good idea.
Yep. So the vent, and all that, all the vents in the walls, like not necessarily behind the toilets, but behind the sinks. It gives you more room to hit the plumbing where you need to hit it at.
Do they, is it a thing down there to see an entire interior room that's 2x6 for a storm room?
No, not. I don't know. I haven't really paid attention to that.
There's a couple builders up here that'll do that. They'll like your interior, like a bathroom, like an interior bathroom. Instead of doing just the plumbing wall, they'll make the entire thing a 2x6 framed wall, and that's your. If you don't have like a storm shelter, or if you're not doing something like that, and that's your storm room. Just a little bit something else, a little bit something.
You do see quite a lot, actually, of especially the houses that are out in the middle of nowhere. We do a lot of those.
Yeah.
I'm talking areas like outside of Troy, Banks, out, I can't give the road names or whatever. But anyway, out there where it's just miles and miles of pasture and you build a house up on a hill, most of the time they have a complete concrete bunker.
Safe room type.
Yep. 12-inch thick walls, 18-inch ceilings, rebar, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I have seen that a lot. I've seen that a lot. And, they keep the guns in it or whatever, too, if they want to. Welcome to Alabama. But, I see that more than 2x6 walls.
The builder that I did the superintendent stuff for, most of his master bedrooms were cinder blocked. They were safe rooms.
Yeah.
So they kind of covertly were, a place to go, for a couple of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
The rebar, concrete roof, rebar, cinder block walls and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Because a nader will come through here really quick, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
We
a
got to watch those.
good thing to have a place to go.
We've had a pretty busy week here. We got the builder's job ready to go for his personal house. So that's good. Talked to him today. He's not quite ready. They still have to brick around the fireplace and the painters.
His white shaker cabinets.
Yeah, the ones he swore up down he wasn't going to get.
I don't want shaker. Yeah, we're going to do shaker.
We're going to do shaker.
What color, Mitch? Well, I don't know what color, but we're not going to do white.
Definitely not doing white.
But let me get back to you.
Yeah.
Hey, Mitch, we're going to do white.
Let's do pure white shaker. Okay, buddy. It don't make me no difference. I tell people all the time, I don't care what color you paint them.
I don't get paid by the color.
No, sir.
It doesn't. Hot pink, purple.
You remember that pink island that we did?
That's
she
true.
found chairs that matched that island perfectly, by the way.
How did that color come out like with everything else? Did you see it with other colors? Yeah,
just like you think it would. Yep.
Terrible. Okay.
I mean, from my eye.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care. But when you walk in, it's like a neon sign flashing.
I just feel like it's like when you describe the color, I think of like flesh tone, like almost like how I feel my face looks right now. This color red, like it's just been stretched across this thing.
It is. It's different. But hey, it's your house, your money. You do what you want. I guarantee you. I do not care.
Speaking of stretching, I'm gonna send you another picture. Because we talked about this. Yeah, I know. Well, we talked about this a little bit. So I'm going to circle back to that, but
all right.
It's there for us to talk about.
Let's see. So we got all that stuff done. He's almost ready. We did undermount guides on this job, Pro 600s, if you're wondering, from Worth. I like them so far. Yep, so far I like them. I'm learning a lot about undermounts because I ran Pro 500 series, and then these are Pro 600 series, which is just same guide but different adjustments on the front.
Okay. So nothing setup wise, it's crazy different.
That's right.
Anything.
Yep. And then I'm doing a vanity and
Did you see the guy that hold on, did you see the guy on like the cabinet page that had built them, and he had built some kind of machine. And from what I saw about it, it was basically just built to cut the notches out in drawer boxes for undermounts.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they sell drawer notchers.
That's all it does is just cut the notches for that for the undermounts.
Yep.
And like he wanted like a lot of money for this thing, like four or $5 grand.
Yep.
And it just does that one task.
That's it.
I don't get it. I don't
either, man. And I know why they do it, because they have full backs on the drawers. So the drawer back is the same height as the drawer sides.
Right. I mean, that's how I do mine. I just notch them though.
Yeah. Well, I don't do that. No way. I cut my backs down even with the top of the groove, and I rock on.
I don't make 100 drawers. I make 6.
And what they're probably doing is they're probably using dovetail drawers. Usually is what you do on that solid wood dovetail drawers, and they look better on the back, to be notched than they do for it to be cut. You never see the back of the drawer. Hey,
I know.
Not my circus, not my monkeys. But that's the way we do. Yeah, this job out here was 65 drawers, I think.
Yeah. I couldn't believe like that he wanted that kind of money for that thing. Like, yeah.
And then when you look them up,
and it was big. And I was like, this is one, it's big, and two, it's expensive, and it only does one task.
Yep.
I mean, I guess maybe you could dado something with it. I don't know. I didn't know. I couldn't figure out from the pictures exactly how it worked. You know what I'm saying? Like I got what it did, but I didn't understand how you achieved it.
Yeah, what kind of bit it is and all that stuff.
Yeah, is it just a dado stack on something that's got?
I have no idea.
A guide left and a guide right for a drawer? I don't know.
It's just kind of like one of those things that I'll probably never have here in my shop, so I don't really worry about it. But yeah, and then this little vanity that we're working on, I did another brand of undermount. So what I like to do is if I have a smaller job with just a few drawers, that's when I venture out and try something new.
Gotcha.
Right? Not on a huge job. Yeah. So I'm trying headache drawer slides. They are stupid expensive.
Okay.
They're like
Bloom prices.
Yep, $26, $27 a pair.
Okay.
With all the little doodads and stuff you get with it. But we'll see how they do. We'll see how they install. And what I'm figuring out about undermounts is they pretty much, you can build the same box for the same opening and use all these different undermounts. There's really not a big, big change in them. So.
Yeah, you really don't have to change your construction method or your what you use is like I can't remember. Don't ask me what they are, but like I have a cheat sheet that's like above my saw for drawer. It says opening minus, I think it's an inch and an eighth. Like it's just inch minus, and that's what the drawer box needs to be. Whatever my opening is, and then I've got another one. You've got your microphone muted, so it's really hard to hear you.
Sorry about that.
I had a total panic moment for a second. I was like, crap. We have more issues with technology again.
Nope, that was just me.
You just clicked the mute button. What did you say?
Now I can't even remember now. Oh, the headaches. No, what you need to do, that's what I was going to say. What you need to do is design a drawer in Mosaic, or what do you use now?
Mosaic.
Okay, so you design a drawer Mosaic, and let's say you have 5/8 space on either side of that drawer. You just put a 5/8 spacer on the drawer and tell it, hey, I'm not worried about this. Don't put it on the cut list. I can tell mine, don't ignore this. Like, don't put this piece of wood on the cut list or whatever. But anyway, I have master drawers. Left middle, middle, right. I've got vanity drawers, base drawers, undermount drawers, side mount drawers. I got a whole plethora of drawers. I drag the drawer onto the screen, pop it in the cabinet, spread it wall to wall, boom, it's there. And it shows up on the cut list.
See, I don't use my cut list for drawer boxes. I just whatever that material is, because it's like 1/2 inch. I think I've got it as some kind of crazy weird material like 1/2 inch.
Because you don't want it to be spread out on your cut list.
Yeah.
So what I do is I extract all those drawer pieces and put them in an Excel form, organize them, and then I delete them from my main cut list.
So, got you.
Something to look into, because it saved me, because, man, 60, 70 drawers, that can take you an hour and a half, 2 hours to work out all your sizes, and then you got to put them in order. It's this whole thing dealing with drawers, man.
Oh, yeah.
So it made it a lot easier. Once you can get those numbers on the Excel sheet, Excel can sort them however you want to sort them, and it's way easier at the saw, and you don't have to worry about, missing one or getting one wrong or whatever.
No, that's a good point.
Food for
yeah, I like undermounts. I had to do some side mounts on this job I'm on right now. I hate it because they're 10-inch drawers.
Oh, yep.
That's the only thing bad about undermounts. They don't really do like.
So I don't
12 is as small as you can go.
Yep, I don't like that about undermounts, and I don't like the 3-inch increment on undermounts.
Oh yeah.
So you can't get a 20-inch guide. You have to get 18s or 21s or whatever. So I've discovered that in some situations you have an odd depth cabinet, right? So a vanity's 21, but then the knee space beside it, I bring it out 22.5. Well, I just about screwed the pooch and put 18s in there. And then I said, wait a minute, I need to make sure I'm not going to run out of bracket on the back. Now, if you're doing, if you're mounting them on the side of the cabinet, it's not an issue. But if you're using the rear brackets to support the back of the guides, you better make sure the bracket ain't behind the guide,
Yeah.
So, I don't like that. But, you can work around that stuff. It's not a big deal.
I've had to put an extra sheet of pre-finished UV in there once or twice to give me one of those.
Yeah. And the brackets.
Give me a little 3/4 jump.
The stupid thing about these people is the brackets are wider than the guides.
Why do they have to be that way?
Why are we doing this, guys?
Why do I need why do I have to measure 3/8 of an inch left and 3/8 of an inch right from where I want to be?
Yeah. So think about that. If your face frame doesn't overhang enough, you're in trouble.
I've had that happen. I've had that happen.
Yep. So anyway, we it's all part of the learning curve, man. Get out there, do something you're not really comfortable with. You'll figure it out. But
they're really not that complicated.
The drill, the hole you have to drill on the back of the drawer for the little hook to go in on the undermounts.
Yeah.
The headaches don't have that. The headaches give you a plate that you screw to the back of the drawer.
Oh,
And then the hook on the guide goes into that little plate, and you can adjust it up and down.
oh, interesting.
Yeah, I'll shoot you some pictures of it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a pro now. I'm undermount pro.
Do you use one of these jigs for that hole in the back?
Nope.
Have you ever tried one?
No.
I've
Well, technically,
used one of those. Is it Rockler?
probably.
Makes that jig.
I know Bloom makes one. Headache makes one.
Yeah, I've used it
Most
once.
of your
It's kinda
suppliers.
nice.
We have a plate that we set. We have a table that we put on the drill press that's got lines on it. So we put it up there, put it on the line, pop it. Put it on the line this way, pop it. That's all we do.
Gotcha.
It's pretty fast.
Look at you, Mr. Efficiency.
Heck yeah. Always learning, man. I got to get more efficient with these undermounts because they are whooping my tail right now. You know, because when you're so used to doing side mounts, then you go undermount, everything changes. So we're figuring
And they
it out.
are heavy.
Golly. So check this
You
out.
preload a cabinet full of undermounts before you go. Oh my God.
Trey is learning a valuable lesson. Because I was bragging. I was like, man, we can finally do one in-house. Take the cabinets over there, doors and drawers in them. Boom. Man, we put those drawers in those cabinets in the paint shop. We had to take them out of the paint shop, and Travis was like, are you serious, dude? And I was like, oh, yeah. Oh, you're adding 150, 200 pounds to some of these. I got an 8-foot cabinet out there that's got 9 drawers in it.
Yeah.
You talk about heavy.
It's amazing how fast that weight builds up in there.
Man, they are heavy. And we hadn't done that in like a year and a half.
Yeah.
We just set naked boxes, man. It ain't nothing for us to grab a 9-foot cabinet. It don't weigh anything.
Right.
And then you realize how much weight is in those boxes and before it's even loaded.
What about when you throw a bunch of undermounts in an MDF box? That's a lot of fun.
I don't want none of that.
That is a boatload of fun. Yes.
All right, I'm gonna tick on through these things. We measured.
I'm just going to distract you and go where I want to go anyway. So
That's
go
fine.
ahead.
That's fine. You trying to knock everything off the rails? Is that what you're trying to do?
Speaking of off-road, how about that video I sent you? How cool was that?
That was. I was trying to figure
train?
out where that was. At first, I thought it was outside of your shop.
Yeah, nah.
And I was like, this dude told me he was in the middle of nowhere. He's got
Yeah.
stores all over the place. But no, that was a Norfolk Southern. We don't get to see those down here.
It was cool. I mean, because it was the Whistle Stop Cafe was the name of the restaurant that we were at, and I was across the street walking the dog, and I heard it coming. I was like, oh my God. I couldn't get my phone out fast enough. I was like, Moose, sit down, be still. And I just got it right, and then just was able to frame it right with the restaurant with it coming by. I've got an audio file. I wonder if I can play it. Go ahead. I'm gonna see if I can find this audio, and I'm gonna see if I can play it for you. It won't be great, but I want to see if you think it sounds better than the train horn in the intro that we're using now.
All right.
Because this is a live train horn that I recorded. So it come through again as we were eating. You want to talk about loud? Holy Moses!
Welcome to my world.
Right.
So last week I measured the biggest job I've ever measured, and it had some different things in it. It's not just your run of the mill, cabinet job. It had a few. It's got a temple room where they're going to be doing kind of just a really short cabinet that's floating. It's up off the floor, nothing up under it.
Yeah.
And that's where they're going to put some kind of temple. I don't know. I don't want to, say the wrong thing, but some kind of temple is going to be sitting on it. And that job, I quoted it out. By far the largest amount, the largest money job that I've ever done. We'll see if they keep everything. We'll see if they shave some off. I'm not sure. I don't think they're going to be doing a lot of shaving.
Yeah. How big's this house? That was a big job.
It's 5,000 square feet easy.
Okay.
I'm talking 7 vanities, 2 linens, 2 kitchens. It's a huge job. So It's going to be interesting, depending on what they wind up going with. It's going to be interesting to run a job that big through here because it's going to be pushing.
Is this for Sam or Frank, or is this somebody else?
It's for Frank.
It is for Frank. Okay.
Yep.
See,
So, like I
I
said,
refer to my notes. That's going to
I
stick.
saw you cheating.
Sam and Frank is going to stick.
So, and Frank usually does pretty good about telling the customers how much their cabinets are going to cost. You know, if we have to shave any off because it's over budget, it's typically not a lot.
Right.
So I'm hoping that, you know, he kind of told them pretty much where I was on it, you know. So
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes. It's still nerve-wracking doing a quote that big. I did it 2 or 3 times. And really, let's be honest, it's just footages.
Yeah.
Like there's not a lot of extra stuff, but you still want to be sure that you get the full length of every cabinet without, you know, overcharging and without undercharging.
Is there a difference when you price that? How do I put this? Let's say easy numbers. It's 20 linear feet of cabinets in the same room versus 10 foot of linear foot of cabinets in room A and 10 foot of cabinets in room B. So we still have 20 linear feet. Either way you want to cut it, right? Is it different when you start dividing it into rooms?
No.
Like does the math start over because you got more end panels or anything, or do you just
Nope.
look at it linear foot's linear foot? Doesn't matter.
Linear foot is linear foot. I was looking for that quote. Yeah. So what I do is, and I can, well, I'm not going to show all this, but in this column here, we get it lined up. These are all your base cabinets
Yeah,
and how many feet each one is.
gotcha.
And then same thing for your overheads. And then we have a stack that we're going to blur through that says extras because I don't want people knowing what I charge for everything.
I'm with you.
But anyway, yeah, so I have base footage for the whole house, overhead footage for the whole house, and then I have extras. Extras are your trash pull out, your spice pull out, your hood, your vent, fridge wraps, you know, island supports, table legs, you know, painted tops, stained tops, shelves, anything that's not in your regular footages
Right.
goes in the extra column.
Okay.
And then simply you just add all 3 columns up.
Gotcha. Yeah,
And
I'm always worried or curious. Like, I mean, because I know a lot of guys who, because I don't do full houses, so I know a lot of guys who do full houses. They price by linear foot. But I've always, do they start over? You know, I mean,
No, and well, one thing you do have to watch is, let's say you have 20 feet of cabinets between walls. All right, so that's, let's say we're charging, you know, $100 a foot. Keep it
Okay.
simple, right? So that's $2,000.
right.
All right. Now let's take that same 20 foot of cabinets. Let's make 4 5-foot cabinets. Okay. Same amount of linear footage.
Right.
But each one of these 4 5-foot cabinets has a finished end.
Right.
You see? Now we're mitering toe kicks. We're routing finished ends. We're painting. We're prepping. We're sanding finished ends. Use a lot more paint. So that is one thing you kind of have to watch.
So do you do like a linear footage and then you count your finished ends? Like,
Not
your
yet.
finished ends have a multiplier or something?
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah.
You know, some of these houses you go through, there's a lot of cabinets in between walls,
Right.
which doesn't take as much labor, obviously, to build. But then a lot of them, like this guy's, like Frank's house, it's like every freaking cabinet has a finished end. We blew through 5 gallons of
Yeah.
painting, which wouldn't have happened if most of them were in between walls.
Right.
Right? So there is added cost to that, but you know, you kind of feel like, you know, and do I go up, you know, $3 a foot to kind of cover it is what I would do. So if it became a problem, I would go up $3 or $4 a foot to cover the extra labor or the extra paint, whatever, and just blend it all in.
Yeah.
Because when you start getting in, now you're so precise on a 40 cabinet job that if you start missing stuff, you're actually going to miss it.
Yeah.
And it's better to give the builder a price and say, okay, well, instead of $100 a foot, we're going to 103. He's like, all right, cool. And it'll all, you know, work out. But when you kind of start, okay, it's $20 per finished end or whatever, well, next thing you know, you're forgetting 5 or 6 finished ends.
Yeah.
You know, or something on
You've
a job.
really hosed yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
Gotcha.
we try to stay away, and everybody's different. There's no wrong way to do it. It's just whatever you're comfortable with when you're quoting. To me, man, I gotta start with that base footage, and then it's easy to add on the extras over here.
Right.
Like if I don't like you, $1,500. You know, if you
I
make
can
me
pay.
wear a COVID mask when I come and measure, $400. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to hide that over there in
I'm
that
at
column.
$1,900 in overcharges, and we just started talking. What did?
But yeah, so it is the largest quote I've done. So we'll see how that goes. I got to go Thursday and measure another house.
Gangbuster year, man. Gangbuster year.
Yes, they're coming, dude. They're coming fast. We're kind of closing in designs on another house. They changed some stuff. This was one that started out with one wall in the kitchen, no overheads, a little island, two vanities. Now it's everything inset. We're staining furniture feet, and all this kind of stuff.
What about your friend down the road that you were trying to help out that needed some help with some cabinets? That's kind of getting drug around by the contractor and on a bad cabinet job. Did you end
So
up?
I haven't heard anything back out of her.
Okay.
So I don't know if she called the contractor and the contractor says, give me a month and I'll fix it. That could have happened. I'm not sure.
Right.
So I'm just going to put that on the back burner. If she calls, she calls. If she don't, she don't. But I haven't heard anything.
Yeah. I was just curious if you heard back from her.
Yeah. We're going, like I said, Thursday to measure another one for Sam.
Okay.
So the big job is for Frank. Sam's got one. And then Frank's going to have another one. Then Sam's got another one. Then Frank's got another one. And that's how it goes. People say, how far out are you? Until they retire.
Yeah. hopefully I am on
Yep.
lock. That's. I had somebody contact me the other day. Like, would you be willing to fix this piece of furniture? I said, I am willing to fix a piece of furniture, but I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm willing. It's something I'm willing to do, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
And they're like, why? I was like, because that's not what I do. Like, that's not my gig. And every time I say yes to somebody to try to be the nice guy, I just get screwed over here,
Mm-hmm.
and I just can't. Like, I just can't keep adding that stress to myself.
And now
Like,
you're fixing. It's like you're fixing a bed frame on Sunday night because you told the guy you'd have it on
yeah.
Monday, and then something else happened. Oh yeah, I've been there.
Well, it was
It's
that
tough.
that wine fridge. Did we talk about that last week? That cabinet that I went and retrofitted the wall. I
Yeah.
didn't want it. I didn't want to do that, and flat out told the guy it's just not something I want to do. He's like, it's basically like, well, just give me a number that would make it worth it to you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, okay, now we're in a different now we're in a different
Yeah.
conversation
Because you know I'm inflating the number.
right, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
mean-
it's that there's extra cost associated with it. I'm not just behind the scenes inflating it because I don't want it.
right.
Like we're being open about it and stuff. Hey, go for it.
Well, I'm not trying to give you a price so that you won't pick me.
Right,
I
exactly.
am giving you an honest price of what it would take to get me to leave the house on Saturday. That's really what we were at. I mean, I've had a really rough week, and this is what it's going to cost to get me to leave on my off day.
Uh, I've been there. Let's see. So you
It's
remember?
hard to say no, though. And I
is.
know you know how that. I know you know what I mean because
Well, look at me.
we're generally nice people. I mean,
Exactly.
I'm nice to certain people, but I mean, I generally try to help people when I feel like they need help. I mean,
And the lady that came that's having all this trouble with the contractor, I turned her down.
yeah,
I turned her down. It was a local job, tiny kitchen, but I told her I didn't have time. And now look at her, 6 months, dude. She's been struggling with this. And I'm like, if I would have done it, man, it would have just, I don't know. And that drives you to take on work that you don't really want. You start feeling sorry for people, and it's just it's an endless.
Well, when I started the
endless
remodel business, I had an uncle who's kind of a handyman. He said, I promise you though, he said, every job that you give a deal on or that you do for a favor will be the nightmare job. And that is it's almost true. I mean, I've had only one or two that have just not come back to completely bite me in the butt. And it's because you're trying to do the favor, and at some point it turns awkward, like, well, it's cost way more than I thought it would cost. So I was willing to lose a $50 to help you out, whatever the situation is. But now we're at $150, and I'm not willing to lose that extra $100
Mm-hmm.
to help you. Like sometimes, but not often. That I'm
Yeah.
willing to take away from my family to help you.
That's right. And it's the same way with the guy, my buddy, that came and put the roof on the house before we tore it down. I told him, I said, dude, don't get yourself in a bind.
Yeah.
Please make sure price it high. If you come off, you can come off. If not, you can keep the money. It's insurance money. I could care less.
Yeah.
But don't, and it's just, you don't want people doing that. And then everybody feels weird. You feel weird about going and say, hey, we ran into this. I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal, but it is, with your hand out. And then they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, well, you kind of told me you do it for, $900 and now we ain't. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Just, it's hard to deal with stuff
Well,
like
we had
that.
talked at one point in time. I kind of had a lull when I was doing the remodels, and you were starting on the house. You're like, man, come down. I got all the plumbing you want to do. Like, if you need, if you need some to fill some gaps in your schedule, and I almost like seriously made the phone call, and I was like, I mean, just being 100% honest, I was like, whatever. This isn't worth our friendship. Like, I'm just not
Yeah.
willing to. I'm not willing to risk it because I don't know that it ever ends up. I don't know that it ever ends up good, or the same as it was when you walked away. It might not be damaged per se, but I don't know that it's ever as good of a relationship as it was. And I was like, it's
Yeah.
just not, it's
Because I
just not
guarantee
worth
you,
it.
I guarantee you would have ran into some overages over there, buddy, on that house. You'd have been like, what the crap have you got me doing over here? I'd be like, hey, man, you
Yeah.
told me $100.
Yeah.
$100, $100.
$100, $100. It's just sometimes, you got to pick. And I hate I don't like doing work for friends unless like they'll legitimately let me, you've got to let me do it as a favor.
Yeah.
And that means in all aspects of let me do it as a favor, like no time pressures, no time constraints, and then that way I don't feel obligated to take away from the business side of things to help, and then that way, we both feel good about the favor, at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day, but it's hard, and people think when you own tools that you just are willing to just use them all you just want
Yeah.
to use them all the time,
Yeah. And the
you know?
caveat to that is there are things like the lumber rack, right?
Yeah.
I told the dude what I wanted. There was nothing that could go wrong. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like he
Yeah.
knew what he had to have to do the job. It was a simple little job, and he did it and it all worked out. Okay, that's in its own category.
Right.
But when you're talking home repairs, plumbing issues, hey, I want this room remodeled. Dude,
Yeah.
you could find mold, asbestos, rotten stuff that you didn't know. So, yeah, I mean, it's just, you have to be careful doing that kind of thing. I wouldn't do it. I
Yeah.
wouldn't do it.
It
I
just
would, like you said, I would
it
do it
gets
for
tough.
free, or I would be like, you buy all the stuff and I'll come help you on the weekend.
Yeah.
I've done stuff like that, but
Yeah, let's actually like schedule this and let's we'll do it, like something like that. But it gets tough, and as a business owner, you're going to get hit up all the time by different groups and associations, schools, to do little things, and you know another. So I did those. It keeps coming back to those marquee letters, but I did the marquee letters, and then it was, well, we got to get these to Nashville for the prom. Do you think do you think Travis can take them in his trailer? And I was like, no, Travis cannot. Travis Travis is not dragging his trailer through Nashville for this for no money. And then I got to stick around all night long and wait on prom to end
yeah,
because they got to leave that night. And then I got to drag them back home, you know, and then I got to go put the trailer because I can't park the trailer at my house. So then I got to go put the trailer up, and then I got to go home. We're talking about 1 o'clock in the morning. At this point, I was like, no,
nope,
Travis just makes the letters. You guys got to figure out how to transport them. I'm sorry, And I wanted to say yes because it's my wife's school, and I like to help them when I can.
yeah,
But I was also doing that cabinet refresh that day, with the wine fridge. So I was like, I don't know how that's going to go. Like, I don't want to commit to having them on time.
yep, yep,
I mean, so sometimes you just have to say no, and it's okay to do charity work and community work, but just make sure that I don't want to, it sounds so bad because it is charity work. So you're supposed to be giving something, but you got to make sure it's also not at your own detriment. Like
yeah,
it shouldn't really cost you other than maybe some time and maybe a little bit of your materials. Like if you're shooting nails or you're gluing and stuff like that. I mean, like homecoming float build. I helped my youngest daughter's class build their homecoming float. And I took tools and nails and stuff like. Yeah, I'm willing to lose whatever for that. But
Mm-hmm.
and never ask for reimbursement. But because it was fun. It was something to do together, and it was for the school. But you gotta you gotta weigh those community things out. Just
Yeah.
be
You
careful.
can wind up losing your shirt, buddy, on some of that stuff, and
Yeah,
because
yeah,
at the end of the day, you got to eat, man.
yeah,
You got
yeah.
to eat, and that's what I told this guy doing the lumber rack. I said, give me a price on it. I said, if I hate the price, I'll tell you. If not, you know. So he's like, well, it's gonna be this much. I ain't gonna charge you nothing to build it. And I was like, no, no,
Yeah.
we ain't doing that because if you start going down that road, I said, I'll be your worst customer. You would done built me a Model A in your garage for nothing. You know what I'm
Or
saying?
or he's gonna come back to you in a few weeks and be like, "Hey, remember that rack I built for you?
Yeah,
I
I
sure
need
would
a
like.
vanity.
I sure would like to have a vanity. I mean,
Yeah,
you saw. I mean, you know exactly what I'm saying. I
yep.
saw I saw a video yesterday while we're on this, and I laughed so hard, and I'm stealing it. But it was this guy's like laying under his car, and he's working on it, and this guy walks up, and he sees his feet, and he's like, "Oh God." He goes, "Hey, you're a mechanic, right?" And the guy goes, "Yeah, I'm a mechanic." And he goes, "Well, do you think?" He said, "Well, hold on, I'm underneath this car. Let me." So he rolls out from underneath the car, and he's like, "Well, I got this car. It's got these brakes on it that they just ain't that good. You think you might could, take a look at them? You got that shop in your back, right?" And he's like, "The one that I work out of every day. Yes, I have that shop." And he goes, "Okay." He goes, "Well, yeah." He said, "We'll bring it up here and we'll take a look at it and we'll figure out what it would cost to do it." And he's like, "Well, I just thought maybe you could do it for a little bit of beer and pizza, maybe." And
Yeah.
the guy pulls his phone out and he pulls his phone out. He goes, "Yeah, so and so bank. Yeah, I was just wondering if I could pay my mortgage with beer and pizza this month, or are you going to require cash?" "Yes, you would like money. Okay, yeah, I'm going to need money. The bank won't take beer and pizza. I
Yep.
mean,
Yep.
he's like, it's just that it's that simple. I've got to pay my bills.
That's it.
You know, but
Well, I've got some good news. Um, I called. I've got to get some door samples in, so I called my buddy at the door plant, and I was like, "How do you guys do samples?" And he's like, "Well, we typically do them just for at cost." I said, "Okay," and I was like, "Well, these are going to be, raised panel, applied molding." He's like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! Now I'm gonna tell you right now, you're gonna pay for them suckers. Those doors are gonna be expensive."
okay,
Like what do you know what you're? I said, oh yeah, I've talked to the homeowner. Trust me, she's not worried about how much these doors cost. And he goes, okay, all right. Well, as long as you know that up front, that's fine. So we're gonna get some door samples in. So I called my door guy, the middleman,
yeah,
because I can't order from the door plant. I got to go through the middleman. And he's like, well, did he tell you the good news while you're on the phone with him? And I said, no, what good news? And he's like, you no longer have to go through Richie Lou to get your doors. We're going back to the old way. They heard you. They heard everybody calling and moaning and groaning about it, and they ex-nayed the whole thing. You
it's
deal with
because of the
me.
podcast, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
It's the
Absolutely
power,
is.
the power of the podcast. We got
Yeah.
we got that fixed.
Richie Lou heard it, and they're like, oh, no. But
Take
yeah.
that, Richie Lou.
So, and then he said
But
after
we'll take your
this,
sponsorship still.
yeah, we will. We'll still peddle your products.
We'll still be a sponsor.
But he said, yeah,
That's
and after
awesome.
this, there's just going to be an online form. You fill it out online, we forward it straight to the door plant. So no more of that crap.
So all that approval crap and all that stuff goes away.
Gone.
Do you think your
Gone.
price point will change much?
No.
No, won't go
That's up to
down
the
any.
door plant. Yeah.
Well, I was hoping maybe it'd go down some since there was less people
No, because it never went
involved.
up.
Oh, okay. Well,
Never
fair
went up.
enough.
Richie Lou owns HGH basically, so they get all their profits anyway.
Right.
So
Well, you know what that guy, remember me telling you what that guy tried to tell me about the door plant and HGH and all that. I don't
yeah.
know. It doesn't sound right now. So it
No.
doesn't sound right.
No. Um we got, and I'm wrapping up on my end, but we got the uh-oh. Dude, if we don't use that, If
Is
we
that
don't
better?
use that, yeah, you're gonna have to fade it out because it's an abrupt ending.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, because I
It's like,
just
wah, wah.
well, I should have listened to it. I wished I'd stayed and recorded the cars clacking. I mean, I could have almost reached out and touched this train. I mean, it was close.
Well,
I
dude,
mean,
come to think of it, I can give you a different live train sound every day.
that's true. That's true. But I
Every
should have
day.
just left. I should have just left it recording the clacking of the cars down the track a little bit longer.
I wonder if we did that, if we recorded a different train every day or like
How
every
different?
week, if anybody would notice.
I don't think there's a train aficionado that listens to us, but maybe that accidentally did because they thought Off the Rails was a train podcast.
Yeah.
But I don't think any cabinet guys are going to know the difference.
No,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Cabinet guys got some weird hobbies sometimes too.
We're going to work on that. I'm going to work on that. I'm
All
working
right.
on that.
All right.
They came and finished the survey on the 2 acres next door that we're buying finally.
How'd that go?
Hallelujah. They couldn't find a pin. They found all of them but one. Turns out, crazy owner next door built the goat pen on somebody else's property a little bit. And they're like, "Oh, look." And the dude, man, he's just like one of us, man. He gives you a hard time from the like there's not even an introduction.
Yeah.
You get straight crap as soon as I call him. And he was out there, man. He was hollering, "Oh, look, somebody don't know where to put a goat fence. Oh, look, you trying to mooch all these people's land." Oh, it was so funny, man. But it's like 5 feet on the inside of the goat pen down there.
So you're
They
well
finally
over
found
it.
yeah, they finally found all I had to go off of was a rusty piece of barbed wire when we moved here.
Oh,
And I'm like, well, that must be the property line.
I got you.
And now we're buying the property, so there. It's
Yeah.
all going to be mine.
Well, I'm trying to find 2 acres to buy up here.
Man, I see you
And
2 acres right here, man.
I sure wish I could find 2 acres at the price that you bought 2 acres at, because I can't find anything less than like $25,000 an acre.
Ooh.
Yeah,
That ain't.
it ain't good.
I got a friend of mine that called me and said he's thinking about buying a building, and oh, I better not. He's thinking about buying a building. It's
Okay.
5,000 square feet.
Okay.
Empty, but it is wired. It does have a little office. What do you say? Yes, 50 by 100. It's got a little office. It's got gas heat, I guess, out in the workshop area or whatever it is. I believe he's at mid 200s on it. Comes with 3 acres of land.
Really?
And I was like, he asked me what I thought, and I was like, dude, I really don't know. What can you make in a year? What's your
Right.
profit? Can you cover it? I mean, really, it comes down to that. And we talked about it, but I'm like,
What's he wanting to
golly,
do in it?
man, he's basically kind of remodeled, but a little cabinet heavy.
Okay.
But he can build just about anything. He's a super great guy. I've
Yeah.
known him for the last few years. And anyway, he's just going to do a plethora. He needs a workshop. He needs somewhere to store stuff. He needs somewhere to run his business out of, whatever.
Yeah.
And I talked to him. I was like, okay, small investment, big results. We're talking about shapers. We're talking wide belt. There's your doors. You get a couple more shapers. You can make entry doors to homes. I got people all the time ask me to make entry
Front doors.
Lady from the church, they have 2 huge front doors at this church that are falling apart. And she wants me to make brand new doors. I'm like, I can't. I don't have that equipment.
Yeah.
So I was talking to him. I was like, dude, you can't build a vanity a month to make that payment. You're going to have to find, a specialty thing that you can do, and you can do it.
Yeah. I would a building that size, my main concern would be the roof. That's going to be your most expensive, could be your most expensive soon replacement,
Yeah, and I don't know how old it is, but I
How
know it's
good
all
is it?
metal. I know it's
Yeah.
all metal exterior, all metal roof. So, we'll
That's an
see.
easier repair than like a rubber or
Yeah. Yeah, oh, yeah. You're
know,
talking
flat
about like flat
roof or-
roof. Yep.
yeah.
Yep. But anyway, yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what he does. I mean, I hope he can get it and make use out of it.
yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
The last thing I have on the list, and this is going to be inside joke, but I just got to give a shout out to the people on that cabinet page. You guys and I know the dinosaur listens to us. I know that.
Uh-huh.
All right. I don't know if we can get Rich and Danny and Jeff and all the. I don't know if they listen or not. But dude, when I tell you I laugh more at that, that's the only reason I have Facebook anymore. Is the amount of inside jokes that go on that thing, man, and golly, it is so funny. One of the guys like would never run an edge band. Are you familiar with Danny's work?
Probably not.
Or the guy with the guy with the Lamborghini?
No.
Okay, well, I'm talking.
I look at the pictures. I read like the main header to get a laugh, and then I move on. Like I don't.
Yeah, and I don't think you're in this. I don't think you're in this group.
Which one is it?
This is the what we'll call it the tank.
Okay.
So, because I don't want to give the name out, but anyway, it's basically the core group of cabinet guys, and we all ugly. And we all just make jokes all the time and put random stuff on there. The amount of effort these people go through for a prank or for a joke is unbelievable. So Danny does like $250,000 kitchens.
Okay.
And he messed up the other day and showed a picture of his edge bander. Which is, man, when I tell you, oh, they started giving him so much crap about that, man. And now it's just been going on for weeks.
Is it like some kind of homemade rig or something?
No, it's a dude that is like anti-edge banding. Like you wouldn't think this dude would edge band anything, and he's got one in his shop. And they're like, oh, look at here. Look at Mr. Edgebander. Oh, Euro box and frameless guy. Oh, my goodness, man. It is so funny.
Did you see the one yesterday? I don't remember which group it was in, but it had showed the cabinet. And he said, man, when you see it, you'll see it. And and you can't unsee it. And it was like it was a jar sitting on like the top shelf of a shelf, and it was labeled cocaine. And he was like, I just replaced the doors and just closed it back. he's like, I don't know what was going on.
There was one a while back, dude, where, everything's dusty in the shop.
Yeah.
So the dude in the picture was holding the hardware on the doors, and he's like, is this where you want it, or is this where you want it? You know what I'm saying? And he had it sitting up on a table. Somebody had drawn a very obscene picture of someone's anatomy on the table in the sawdust, and the dude took a picture and sent it to the client, and it's like, is this where you want the nut? But beside the cabinet on the table, somebody had drawn, and she's like, is that what I think it is down in the sawdust? And the guy's like, oh, I think it is. I'm not really sure how that got there. So apparently the dude had no idea it was down there. He was trying to be professional. And man, that was years ago. We laughed.
That's some kind of weird shadow. I'm not sure what's causing that. But.
And it was a female he was talking to.
Oh, of course.
So he took a screenshot of all the text messages, and she thought it was funny. She wasn't.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, she wasn't offended by it or whatever. But she was like, "Is that a in the background there?" And he's like, "I suppose it is. I don't know." But man, these people are taking comments right off of the Facebook page. And so Nick has got, the CNC tooling now, right?
Yeah.
And I know he's not going to care if we put it out there.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna say it. But anyway,
Frost Incorporated.
Yeah, Nick Frost. So somebody said, "Hey, man, if you made like this big yellow jumpsuit, I'd wear it." In the comments, and Nick is like, "Don't think I won't do it." Month later,
have you seen the branding crap he sends with a bit? I mean, he's like,
oh yeah.
I mean, it's like a banner and a bumper sticker and and another sticker. Yeah, he'd send a yellow suit.
Yeah, he had a complete yellow jumpsuit made with the Facebook comments on the back of the jumpsuit.
No way.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's funny.
And it's now the picture in one of the groups. So I just want to give a shout out to those guys, man, and you guys. Golly, some of the stuff that goes on.
You're the reason why Mitch doesn't get anything done in a week.
Yeah, and it's all clean fun is what I like about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're all ribbing each other, man. But when I posted that picture of that $200,000 kitchen that lady wanted me to build, they were the first ones to jump in and say, here, Here's how you handle that. Here's how you handle this. Here's what you do for that. And they're just so supportive. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So it's amazing. You guys are amazing.
It's amazing how, because I just keep my mouth shut because I don't say anything. But it's amazing how people can find some positivity in some projects that are on those pages. Because
Oh yeah.
sometimes there's just nothing nice I can say other than firewood, and they find some way to say something encouraging. Which for those of you who are like me and you can't find anything encouraging to say, sometimes you probably just shouldn't type anything. I'm just saying. Just
Yeah,
you
just
know.
leave it alone. That's what I do, man. I see people that are starting out, and I see people jumping on them and stuff, and I'm like, guys, this is not how we need to do business.
No, because I've got some doors in my garage that I'll show anybody that wants to make fun of somebody's product. I mean, you can go a long ways with some practice.
Yep. I'm going to send these two pictures to you right now of the actual jumpsuit, and then we got to talk about this picture that you sent me because that is definitely intriguing.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I forgot about that. Oh man, that is banana yellow.
You see what they put on the back? Wait until the Frost CNC yellow jumpsuit arrives, and then Dino said I wear that every day, so he made him one.
And he has got it on. And it's got Nick Frost all over that thing. NickFrostTooling.com on the butt, on the sleeves, on the legs, across the chest. I mean, everywhere. That's funny. That is too funny. So the picture that I sent you, let's talk about that for a second. So we talked
Right.
about this in one episode a little bit. And I asked you if this was something you thought I should pursue or not. So the picture is I'll share it with the YouTubers the best that I can. So this is an old Suburban with the old wood grain. Trying to get it. The old wood grain panel stripe down the side of it, right?
Oh yeah.
So I have a white Chevy, or ooh, Lord forgive me, I got Chevy on my mind. Sorry to all the Mopar people out there. I have a white Ram 2500, and I thought it would be kind of funny or cool to do like a wood panel version of this. And I asked Mitch, I was like, should I seek this out or not? And I was told, sure, you should, which is probably going to cause, marital strife in my life. But I proceeded forward because my buddy said I should.
Yep. I ain't got to deal with it.
So it looks like for basically tops $1,200, I can get this done.
Really?
I talked to the graphics guys yesterday when I was getting the logos put on. And like this is their thing. Like they're a huge graphics. So when they did like the draft in downtown Nashville and like everything got redone for the draft, like they did all of the vinyl graphics and all the stickers for all this thing. Like that. I mean, this is what they do. He's
Yeah.
like I can make it look just like that. And I was like, you can give me like the silver trim. Like I don't want the actual I don't want silver trim, but I want the 3D image where it looks like the silver trim
Mm-hmm.
tracing the wood grain and all. He's like, not a problem. So I'm tempted. I'm really tempted.
So it's vinyl.
It's vinyl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, just peel right off if,
Yeah.
if need be. Got to debadge the truck. That's, which I could really care less about that. I like my wife's car. I completely debadged. I like a vehicle debadged anyway.
I do too.
So got to debadge the truck. Not a big deal. I've already debadged the tailgate. It's got a custom Ram logo on the back anyway with the Marine Corps insignia in it. And but would have to do the sides. Um, but yeah, man. But they don't want to wrap the bumpers. I wanted wood grain bumpers, but they don't want to do the bumpers. They don't want to wrap the metal,
Hmm.
which I didn't know was a. They're like, hey, it just doesn't stay as well. I was like,
Yeah,
okay.
the stick is good, maybe.
And they're worried about the curves because to vinyl wrap you got to heat it and kind of pull it. And they're worried about the curves and how it's going to look with the wood grain. They're like, if it was just a color, it wouldn't be a big
Oh
deal.
yeah, yeah, because it could
They're
stretch
like,
the grain out maybe.
they're like, we're going to distort that wood grain look. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, okay. So I don't know, like $1,200. Will it look cool or not? I don't.
No doubt it'll look cool. No doubt.
Maybe. I think I'm gonna tell her. So I think I got to pay maybe $150 to get the renderings done, or like to
I'm
get
about to
them
say if
to
you
get them to do the mock up stage. Like they won't
yeah
just do the mock up for free, which I
yeah
get because
if you can do it photoshopped or whatever they do, the renderings, then that'll kind of help you make your mind up.
yeah, kind of go from there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering, should I take the wood panel around the tailgate as well? Like, should I go three sides with it? Like, let it go down and then go
I
across the
didn't
tailgate as
I
well?
didn't even know that was even a question. Of course you do.
Yeah, right.
Of course you do. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Okay. All
I
right.
would.
Done. Thank you. I'm going to spend the money. I'll get the renderings done.
Get the renderings done. Send it to me. I'm now your financial advisor.
Yes.
So send me
Yes.
the renderings, and I'll
But
give
you're
you
not
thumbs
my
up,
marital
thumbs down.
counselor, so I'm going to need you to step up that game too.
Like I said, I got to do that.
Uh,
And then after that, we'll talk about more table saws and shapers and. See,
you know,
I'm not going to get you to find me anything anymore.
well, how was I so far off base though with that? I don't understand. So you said you wanted a shaper,
Yeah,
and I think I just sent you the first shaper that I saw. To be perfectly
probably.
honest with you, I
Yeah.
didn't. I didn't
You
really.
were you were sending me shapers like it wasn't your money we were spending.
Well,
That's what
that's
you were doing. You were like, well, "This is Mitch's money. I'm going to send him a $6,000 shaper or
maybe.
something."
I wonder if that shaper's still for sale.
It probably is. They
Was
was
it?
waiting on me to buy it.
Was it a Powermatic for
Yeah, I
four
think
thousand
so.
dollars?
Yep, yep.
Because it's still for sale.
I bet it is. Good luck with that one, dude.
5 years, very seldomly like brand new.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
it is nice. It is a super nice, huge. I mean, it's got
So
like micro dials and all kinds of crazy stuff on it. But
Tom, the guy that used to work for me,
uh
sent me a text today of some busted shaper cutters, the big cutters, like the molding cutters.
huh, terrifying.
Oh yeah, he was molding a big piece of wood.
Uh huh.
Boom! Giant explosion. Shaper cutter just flew apart. All of
So,
them broke off, flew apart.
so how much shaper cutter experience do you have? Like with buying the shapers, the bits, like.
A little bit.
So I got those shapers and I'm ready to set them up, but I don't know what I'm buying. Like,
Well, there's two. I'll make it easy. There's two categories.
yeah,
Yep. There's insert cutters and non-insert cutters. Pick a lane. Whichever way you go, pick a lane.
well, what does it mean?
So insert cutters is like a Sheelix head on a planer. It's got a bunch of cutters that you slide in and screw down, and it holds the cutters. You take the actual blade off. The spindle stays in. You take this weird shaped blade out, replace it with another weird shaped blade, tighten it up, turn the machine on.
Okay, I don't want that.
Okay, and then you have stack cutters or regular cutters, which
Stack
is just
cutters
like
is what I want.
big router bits.
Yep.
Yep. So once you go down one of the roads, you're stuck on that road.
But I gotta buy so if I buy a shaker cutter,
Mhm.
I gotta buy a spacer. Like, I have to buy spacers and stuff with it too, right?
It depends on which
Like,
set you
it's
buy.
not gonna come. Like, it looks like they don't come with it.
Yeah, they'll come with. Well, you got okay, so a good spot to go is Grizzly.
Yeah.
All right, so if you tell Grizzly what you want to cut, and they'll say, "Oh yeah, that's on page 89, item number 37602. It comes with the spacers, comes with everything you need." So think about a shaker, right? You have basically a tongue and a groove bit.
Right.
So the groove bit is going to be one cutter. You set it on there. You set your height. Now the beauty of that is with the shaker set, it knows what groove cutter you have. So you take your groove cutter off and your spacers off, you put your tongue cutter on, and then it gives you a spacer that takes up the blade of the groove that you just took off. It's 1/4 inch groove, they give you a 1/4 inch spacer. So now your bottom cutter and your top cutter are spaced by a 1/4 inch. It comes with the set.
Gotcha.
So you do not change the height of your shaper.
So do you think if I want to set up a cope, if I want to set up a shaper for cope and a shaper for stick, I'm gonna have to buy two sets or
No,
one
they
set?
also sell individual cutters.
Okay.
They sell the top cutter, the middle cutter, the bottom cutter, and whatever spacer you want.
So that's probably the better way to go.
Yes, absolutely it is. So
So I
one
just need to get on the
machine you
phone with
would,
Grizzly.
yeah. So one machine you would have just your groove cutter,
Right.
just one single blade cuts your groove out. You set the height, you roll on. Then you play with the other machine. You have a bottom cutter, top cutter, quarter-inch space in the middle. But then you play with that second machine height
So just like I
until
have the two routers set up. I
that's
mean,
it.
same,
That's
same,
it.
same.
Now that's set up for a shaker. But if you're going to be going back and forth from like a
I'm just
raised
gonna leave it.
panel,
Nope.
the shake, yeah,
Nope.
then you'll be fine. But yeah, get two different ones, and really you could do it with one without change. The thing is, you want to avoid changing the height of your machine every time you do something different.
Right. I mean, I
So
have three shapers, so why would I? Why would I do that? You know what I'm
that's
saying?
right. You mill it all a consistent height. That's the most important part.
Right.
Run it all through the planer, and then boom, boom, you're done. And I'll send you. Somebody sent me a picture. I wish I could give them credit, but they sent me a picture of a coping sled that they made, and that rides in your little slot on top of your shaper, like where your miter gauge would slide.
See, I don't think there's a slot on these.
May not. Now they do have coping sleds that float on on the tabletop. They touch your fence. You just push it through. They're expensive. They're a little pricey, but
Yeah.
they do the same thing.
I mean, I've got one that I use on my router.
A coping sled. Mm-hmm. Well, you'll be
It's got
fine
that.
then.
It's got that little plexiglass window on the top,
Yeah,
and that
that's all
pushes
you
it
need.
off.
Yep, that's all you need.
Yeah. I don't know. I got to get them shapers up, but so talking about efficiencies, we got a few more extra minutes. You got anything else you want to talk about, or I can ask you this question?
No, I'm done.
So I'm struggling. So I bought that extra dust collector, right? And I finally got power for it today, and got to get it plumbed in. I got to get some things cleaned out of the shop, but now I'm struggling with the layout of the shop. Like, I like the layout, but I almost don't know that it's conducive for everything. So I've got like, I don't know if I can explain this for radio where it makes enough sense. So you come in the shop, right hand side is the table saw setup. So main cutting saw, 10-foot outfeed table off of that, and then the dado saws back up to that so that outfeed table works with both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Then next to that is my workbench, which is the crappy workbench that needs to be replaced, but it's about, I don't know, it's about 5 by 10. So it's kind of set up long ways like the saws are. So kind of that long. And then my miter saw is right behind it. So that's where I do all of my, face frame cutting. And right now, all of my face frame material is standing up right there, which I don't really like it standing up. I feel like it bends. I know there's a lot of debate about that, but I feel like it takes a curve. It's
Yeah.
not there for long usually, but I still feel like it takes a curve. And then I've kind of got like, then the left wall is, so I think the shop's 40 foot wide ish. I've got currently, which is not set up, I've got, the three shapers, and I have my Craig, my foreman, my pocket hole machine, and my drill press for hinges. But I feel like I got some kind of efficiency going on that's just not, I don't know, it's just not working exactly right. I don't know how to work through it. But I got to figure it out because I don't want to duct in
Yep.
this new dust collector and go, no, that I don't like that. And I've either got more pipe than I need now because I remove it around, or I don't have enough pipe and I got to go back and I'm buying more pipe.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
I just don't, and I know your shop is way different because you're not exactly one room. Well, most of your cutting is one room, isn't it?
Oh yeah. All the
It's
manufacturing in
one
one
room.
room.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And see, I have no center dividers. I have no poles. I have nothing to work around
Right.
except for power, which I've got open rafters, so I can drop down power. I mean, I can run it off the walls and then drop it down anywhere I need to get to it. But just I don't know. It's just a struggle to try to get that efficiency back up, to where it was. Now that I've added equipment in the way, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I can tell you how mine's set up. It's pretty simple how we do ours.
Yeah.
Wherever your material comes in off the truck,
Yep.
that needs to be sheet storage, table saw, planer.
Yep.
That's pretty much same general area. Then after that, it's assembly table, and then Paco machine is by the assembly table. And then on the other side is pretty much storage down the left wall, and lumber storage, all that kind of stuff. Miter saws poked over there. So basically, when you're assembling, you're going to like when you're assembling the frames, you're going to need your Paco machine.
Right.
So that's by the assembly table. The miter saw is close to the assembly table because you're going to stand all day at the table saw and cut all your parts.
Right.
You're gonna machine all your face frames, then put them in stacks or however you do that. But then once you're at the assembly table, you get a frame. We get a set of frames. Go to the assembly tables. Separate them out. What gets pocket hole, what don't. We right there at the pocket machine. We go back, put them together. Bada bing, bada boom. So that's kind of how mine is breaking down at the door. You break down sheet goods and lumber at the door, and then you got your assembly tables, and then close to your assembly table is the miter saw and that. So, with you doing shapers, if you make your own doors,
Right.
so that's something I don't have to do. So I don't really know how all that will flow.
See, I'm thinking about putting them like back to back, really, is what I'm kind of thinking about doing them so they don't really take up a whole lot of platform and just work off of one side and work off the other.
Yeah, as long as you got in feed and out feed length, you're good. You really, in reality, you need, 12, 14 feet. How long lumber do you typically get?
Usually, usually it's 12s, I would say, but
Okay.
but if I'm making doors, I'm only coping and sticking, 6 foot tops,
I don't know.
what I'm saying?
What?
Like, I'm only making, I don't run, I'm not running a 12-foot stick through that machine. You know
Oh,
what I'm
okay.
saying?
See,
Like
when I make doors, I stick, well, I cope,
everything.
or I groove everything full
Yeah.
length.
Yeah.
I plane it full length. I groove it full length. Then I cut my rails and I cope them separately.
Well, one thing I've found is if I cut the tabs for the rails first and they don't have and there's no groove already in it, I don't walk off. It doesn't you don't get any play or movement off that router bit at all where that where it drops. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because you run your groove through there, so when you come out the end, you've got a piece that doesn't miss. It's missing. So I've started doing my my tails on my rails first before I do my rabbit, before I do the dado for the
Okay.
panels. Because when I do it that way, it eliminates all the slop in
Yeah.
in that left right pivot. And I don't know why I don't know why I get that versus doing it this way. But if I do it after I've run that middle groove, I'll have some
Well,
slop in occasionally. Not like every one of them, but occasionally I'll have
yeah.
slop. Whereas if I run it this way, it just stays right and tight because there's no pivot.
Right.
So
So once you get your shaper set up with power feeds, right?
yeah,
So once you put a power feed on a shaper, then you're eliminating human error, right? So it's gonna run that stock through, and it's gonna be absolutely perfect. That power feeder is at the bit; it'll push out any bow or curve you have, whatever. So you may still do it the same way, but
yeah,
it may also, once you get power feeders, you can deal with your styles over there, and then just keep your rails full length or whatever. And
yeah,
the only reason is now, granted, if you build 8 doors, a lot different. This one I did was 130.
correct,
So you know what I'm saying. There is a little bit of difference there. You're not
right.
doing quite as much. Like I wouldn't build 130 doors in here, dude. It'd take me 2 weeks.
Yeah,
So that's something else to consider.
Right.
You're not doing a huge run of them, so you could be fine. But yeah, once you figure out what works, as long as it works, don't change it. Keep doing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure that void out. There's something I got going that's creating. So like when you put face frames together, right? Because I know you got the Meswaka or Makaswiki or
Yeah, something like that.
something that whatever, which I know has a slightly different angle than the Craig.
Way different.
So it doesn't you don't get that shift near as
That's
bad.
right. Mm-hmm.
But sure, you get some, right? I mean, it's still a
You can,
possibility.
yeah. You still need to clamp it.
So when
still
you
clamp it.
all right, so that's my question. So when you clamp those down, what do you clamp them to, and with what?
Okay, I will send you some pictures and video
Okay.
that will more than likely completely change your life when it comes to frames.
Okay.
So
Because I use my rolling work tables now. Because
and
my
you clamp
bench
it to the work table.
to the work table. Yes.
Dude, those days are over. I'm gonna blow your mind.
All right. Because that's the only thing I have that's flat that I actually have an edge to. The
Okay.
workbench.
How about this? With what I use, you could assemble face frames on the hood of your truck and they'd be dead flat.
Well, I don't know why I don't have the video right now.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Field trip.
Straight
Carry
up.
the computer. Carry the computer out into the shop.
Straight up. I tried a face frame clamping table. I bought one, had it in the shop. It lasted a week. I did a job. I said, for sale. Y'all can have this piece of junk.
Really?
The way I do frames,
I've looked at a face frame table.
this is me. The way I build frames, that face frame table was costing me hours.
Really?
Hours. Absolutely. Dude, and it's so simple. It is so freaking simple, man. It's so simple.
I'm excited now.
Yeah. Dude, I can solve your face frame woes, man.
All right. Well, send me a video that's quality enough. We'll post it on the page.
All right.
We'll post it on the page too.
I'll cut out some frame material and I'll build a little single opening cabinet frame. I'll build that sucker in 2 minutes. Dead flat.
Do you still have a pocket hole that's not the Makaswaki?
Nope.
No. Okay.
But it's a Craig is 14 degrees.
Right. You're what, 11?
4.
4. Is that big of a difference?
Yeah. Now, when I say you still have to clamp them, I mean you can put your thumb on the joint and screw it. There's
very little.
There's not a lot of shift. There can be some.
So you think I need to look for a Makaswaki?
I don't know. I mean, it depends on how much you do, how much you're struggling with it. I got mine.
I pocket hole a lot.
Then yes.
My Foreman, it's great. Don't get me wrong. The Foreman dynamically changed my life from that clamp thing.
Yep.
When I got that, I was like, holy smokes, I am just, give me another board. I want some more pocket holes in this, you know?
Now picture this. You go to a pocket hole machine and you cannot reason within your mind how you even survived with a Foreman.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Really?
Honestly, that's the difference.
Yeah.
There's things I'm willing to spend money on in the shop and things I'm not. But pogo machine, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
That and a daggum hinge machine. Absolutely.
Well, see, I need a hinge machine, but I really feel like if I should change a machine or if I should upgrade something, the drill press and the way I've got it set up for the amount of doors that I do, big difference in the amount of doors you do.
Bingo.
I feel like I can run that drill press okay for a while. That I would rather have I'd rather have pocket holes go faster because I do way more of those than I do.
Yeah, the 4-degree angle has so many advantages over the 12 or 14, whatever.
Yeah.
I believe it's 14. What Craig is.
See, I thought it was 14 and 11. I didn't know it was 4.
Yeah, Max Sewa, 4 degrees.
Wow.
Yep. Amazing customer service. Something was going tricky with my pedal. You've got two. When you press down on the pedal, you close 2 contacts.
Uh-huh.
They both have to be closed, and one of them wasn't closing all the way. He's like, "Yeah, pop the top off, move this bar up a little bit, boom, you're done." 5 minutes, I was over with.
So is it all foot pedal closed? or
Come on now. You got to do better than that. Is it all foot pedal closed? It is
yeah,
late.
is it all controlled by the foot pedal? Like, I
Yep.
mean, so
Yep.
you could have like both hands on the piece
Absolutely.
and you hit the pedal. See, and see, that's the thing about the Foreman that I don't like is if I'm at an awkward angle, I still got to reach up there and hit that safety and the trigger.
Oh yeah, you got a
know?
12-foot. You have a 12-foot piece of wood. You got a Foreman the end of it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Well, the Maxiwa has a long enough pedal cord. You can basically stand at the end, jam it in there, and hit the pedal, and it's way down there doing the work. And the holes are so much cleaner, and it pre-drills. The trick on it is, have you ever been screwing a frame together, and the piece that you put, the piece that has the pocket drilled, has it ever busted and cracked?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Those days are over. Those days are over with.
It's not often, but yeah,
It's not often, but it happens.
It has happened.
And if it's a short piece, you just go cut another one, right, and re-drill it. If it's a 9-foot piece, now you're remilling.
You're mad.
Yep. Yeah. So, it pre-drills with an 1/8-inch drill bit on the end of it, so there's absolutely no stress. It is.
So it's a 2-step.
Yep.
So it's a router bit that comes in and takes the angle, and then the bit, drill bit comes in and does the
your wood's on there flat. Your router bit comes up at a 4-degree rise, and it goes and cuts your pocket. And then as the router bit comes down, the drill bit follows it and goes to the end. And if you're doing pine,
how long does it take?
All right, so if you're doing pine, you can do 2 pocket holes in 4 seconds. If you're doing maple, you can do 2 pocket holes in 6-7 seconds. It's got a dial on it. With wood species, by the way, way over here is pine.
Yeah.
And way over here is maple and oak. So you slow it down with the hardwood, speed it up with the softwood.
So maybe a tad slower in a way. I would say that sounds a tad slower in a way, but not.
What you talking about? Tad slower than what?
Than a Foreman.
No, I mean I'm talking. You're drilling 2 holes as fast as you can put it in there and drill it, and then move it over and do it again.
Yeah.
If you're doing softwoods, man, it's zing zing and it's done. Zing zing. You can do it that fast. Zing zing. Zing zing.
That'd also be nice too, because with the Foreman, sometimes I wonder, because everything on a Foreman moves. Like you're set for the drill bit and how far it comes in, it walks. You're set for the clamp, it walks.
Yep.
So sometimes when I pull the handle down, I'm like, is that all the way?
Yeah, and you'll see the board shift a little bit sometimes.
Oh yeah, when the drill bit hits it, that board's moving to the right. Yeah. I mean,
now this has got a pneumatic clamp that you don't want to put your finger in, buddy.
Gotcha.
When you hit that pedal, it goes and holds it, and then then the router bit comes up and does everything it needs to do.
Now, does it automatically adjust for thickness? Thickness? So, like, say you need to do a 1/2 inch?
No. So what you do if you have something a 1/2 inch, we actually have a little piece of 1/4 inch plywood that hangs on the side of the machine. You put the 1/4 inch on the table.
Yeah.
Now you got a 3/4 inch thick piece of material. Zings, and it's dead in the center of the 1/2 inch plywood.
That's pretty smart.
There's no adjustments. You don't ever have to adjust the blade height. And once you get it set, we use 1.5-inch pocket holes and 1.25-inch pocket holes. Mm-hmm. Because we do the little triangular corner blocks in the top of the cabinets at all the corners. Well, if you're doing that and you're going through a piece of 1/2 inch plywood for your vertical piece, you use a shorter screw.
Right.
If you're doing face frames or whatever, you use a longer screw. But the beauty of it is the router still routes the same depth. And once you get your machine, you play with it for an hour, figure out your depth. Oh, that's too deep. Oh, that's just right. Boom. And you're done. You never have to worry about it.
Sounds like I need to take the plunge at the Makiswaki.
Find a rep. Well, does any of your suppliers sell Maxiwa?
I don't know.
I know Worth does, but you don't do a lot of business with them, do you?
I don't, but after the sales rep finagling I went with Richelieu, I may go talk to Worth, because I can tell you this, if I can't ensure that the sales rep from Richelieu doesn't get credit for anything that I buy, I won't buy anything else from Richelieu.
Yeah.
Until I get that piece sorted out, I'm not buying. I won't place another order.
So I called my Worth rep, And I said, what y'all want for this machine? And he was like, whatever it was, $3,400 or whatever. And I was like, all right, $2,400 cash, I'll buy it.
That's so loud.
And he goes, okay, well, I'll call him and see. I said, all right. Dude calls me 5 minutes later and says, we're ordering it. You got it for $2,400 or $2,500, whatever.
Really?
Yeah.
Send me your model number. Because isn't there a couple versions?
Nope, PHM 30.
Oh. I wish you knew what you're talking about every once in a while before you just start out. Maxiwa
PHM 30.
They are $3,900 on everything.
Yep. Now they went up a little bit because they changed the router bit. They used to come with a 1/4 inch shank, 3/8, straight bit. Now they put in solid carbide, which is what I run in mine. They put a 1/2 inch shank solid carbide bit. They did upgrade the bit. I don't know if they upgraded the internals or not or whatever, but I knew they did some changing on it.
And get one for $41.98 that's got its own dust collector connected to it.
Not necessary. I don't have one on mine. Right. I go through about once every 3 or 4 months and vacuum out the base of it. Dude, the whole table lifts up like a hood of a car.
Oh, really?
And there's all your internals. Yep. And it's all Bosch routers.
So I have a shop vac hooked up to the Foreman, so I could probably just hook my shop vac up to that.
It's got a 4-inch dust collector on the back of it. Port.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I have a dust collector, I have a shop vac that's just dedicated for the pocket hole machine. That's all it does.
My favorite thing to do in this shop is build frames, and I don't get to do it anymore. Because Tommy does it.
Fire him.
Yeah, I should. I should fire him. But anyway, yeah, I will. Tomorrow, I will make you a video of that. I'm telling you, dude, you're going to kick yourself. It's so simple.
It looks nice.
And really I'm not talking about a pocket machine. I'm talking the face frame building.
Oh, yeah, I want that too.
Hey, don't take up any space. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. But I got a text that said my late supper, she was warming it up, so I've got to go.
She's wondering when you're going to show up?
Yep, I've got to go eat.
I think we've covered it, man. I know it's been a few extra days, but I think we got it all hammered down. I mean, we even talked a little cabinet stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I'm excited, man, because I get to change your life on face frames.
Dude, I'm looking forward to it. We'll see how that goes.
I'm on that tomorrow. I'm on.
All right.
I'm shutting the shop down. I'm gonna tell Trey and Joel not to come in.
How's the baby, by the way, real quick? Just let me
good.
Know. Baby's good.
Joel's still learning. Joel's still learning what it takes to be a daddy.
Yeah, well, good luck figuring that out.
He is. You can kind of see it a little bit in his eyes.
Yeah, a little bloodshot.
Yeah, a little bloodshot, a little baggy.
Yeah.
He comes dragging in 8 o'clock, 8:30 some mornings, and I was like, rough morning. He's like, rough night. I said, okay, we'll go paint them cabinets in the back, whatever, But he's doing good. They're gonna go get some chickens and all that stuff pretty soon for El Chicken Stand, which is Joel's. Chicken coop.
The Rambo.
We went metal detecting the other day at the neighbor's house. He said, "Hey, I'm fixing to tear this old house down. If y'all want to come metal detect, you might want to come now before we get nails all over the place." Trey went with us.
Mm-hmm.
Went home.
A metal detector now.
It came in today.
Super nerds. Have y'all watched the Cy Robertson? Have you watched their
a little bit of it? Yeah, a little bit of it.
It's funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
so we'll see. But anyway, yeah, that's all I got, man. I'm ready for another week.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of quotes to do. We got a bunch of work coming up as usual.
Yeah, it's time to turn and burn. Like we're fixing to have a couple busy weeks. So
yes, sir.
I think between the two of us, we'll have lots to talk about. We'll actually have some woodworking cabinetry discussions.
Yeah,
that we can go down.
Yeah,
instead of just
and you're gonna be like you're gonna be mad next week. I'm calling it. You're gonna be mad next week because you're gonna be like, how in the world have you not told me this about the face frames?
Well, I
probably
could have known a month ago when you came up here to help show me working the shop with me. You could have been like, "Hey, why are you still doing face frames like this, you moron?" But that ain't happened. So now I got to do an e-learning session on how to do face frames.
Well, the Dozier's coming tomorrow. We're meeting with the builder in the morning to go over the house pad.
Nice.
Dozier's going to be here tomorrow. Chris is going to be here tomorrow. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Good. Well, tell everybody we said hey.
I'll sure do it, buddy.
Be safe. Hey, again, if you're thinking about starting, start.
Do it.
Quit thinking about it. Get off the couch. Go start. You got an extra hour or two. Start working on it. Whether it's just writing a business plan, whether it's designing a logo, whether it's thinking of a business name, like do something. Do something to start working after it. You know, find your happiness.
Because when you get to work tomorrow, and I already know you hate your job.
Yep.
So when you get to work tomorrow and your boss man's starting that same crap, and you're unappreciated, and nobody cares about you, and you're just a number, I want you to think about this podcast. And if a daggum C average student from Butler County can make this thing work out, I'm talking about me, not you.
Because I was a D student from alternative school. So
if you think you can't do it, you're wrong.
That's
Henry
right.
Ford, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
That's right.
You know, so get out there and do it. And I'm
Yep.
finna go.
And if you don't go out there and do it, then don't complain about your life.
Don't complain.
Satisfied. Be satisfied with what you got.
That's right.
Because you got the power to change it.
Keep working that government mule or go do it yourself.
All right, buddy. Tell everybody we said, hey, be safe. Thanks for listening, everyone. We will see you next week. Bring them back. 10 fingers.
10
10
fingers.
toes. Bring 10
and
toes, too.
while we're leaving, code word is face frame.
Ooh, face frame. I was going to make it Magiswaki.
Oh, yeah, Magaswaki. Cancel that. We're going to make it Magaswaki.
Spelling is up to you. Makaswaki.
Magaswaki.
All right, man. See ya.
All right. See you, man.
Bye.